What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description. 6BT Chapter 136 Invitation to Dinner. Seeing the shy and sweet look on his father's face when he mentioned his mother, Namikaze Minato couldn't help but smile. Who doesn't want to see the harmony of parents' feelings? So that's the case. Then I want to see your girlfriend. The Uzumaki clan has been wiped out. We are both clan members. It's a pity not to see each other. Minato's eyes lit up when he heard Namikaze Minato's words. Why don't you go to my house? Kushina's cooking skills are really good, just let's get to know each other. Okay, this is my companion, can we go together? Saying that, Namikaze Minato pointed to Orochimaru who was hiding his identity. Of course can, of course, the hospitable Namikaze Minato doesn't mind, and the more people there are, the more lively it is. However, Jiraiya, who did not go far, looked at this scene with a hint of deep meaning in his eyes. He had just heard the report from 277 to his subordinates, and the two people in front of him were so-called travelers. When I came to Konoha to travel, it was the first time I met him, and I got in touch with my disciple Minato. If the other party is not well-intentioned, it will be troublesome, not to mention Uzumaki Kushina is still Nine Tails Jinchuriki. In any village, Jinchuriki definitely needs to be kept secret and even monitored. Looking at his insane disciple, Jiraiya was also a little helpless, he even forgot that he was also an insane person. But looking at the ordinary middle-aged man next to him, Jiraiya always felt that he was very familiar. Is it the eyes? Or the temperament? While Jiraiya was still thinking, the middle-aged man seemed to sense something and glanced at Jiraiya inadvertently. This glance directly made Jiraiya's hairs stand on end. He definitely knows this guy. I don't know where I've seen it, but I definitely know it. Teacher, don't you want to eat ramen? The boy Kakashi asked. No matter what time, Kakashi always looks like a stinky fart, which is why the surrounding period hates him, and he is not conscious about it. At this time, he felt that it didn't matter if he was hated. Anyway, it has nothing to do with him, so why care about what others think of you? Yeah, Kakashi, why don't you go to my house and eat together? Advertisement facing the teacher's invitation, Kakashi's face did not change at all, and he said softly, I won't go, after eating, I have to train. The other party has already said so, and Namikaze Minato has no intention of continuing to stay. The boy Yuihon looked at Namikaze Minato at this time, a little strange, for some reason, she always felt that she had some connection with him. This is a feeling in my heart, which is very strange. Sarutobi Asuma at the side obviously sensed the change in his sweetheart's mind, and quickly asked, Hong, what's wrong? It's nothing, I just think that person is a little familiar. HMPH. Doesn't look like a nice guy. Sarutobi Asuma's eyes are full of jealousy. He is young and precocious. When he sees Namikaze Minato's handsome appearance, he becomes jealous. He sees his daughter Shendu paying attention to him. Where can there be any good face? While Kurenai Yui was still thinking, Namikaze Minato stepped forward. I heard your conversation just now, is your name Hong? Looking at the handsome man in front of her, Rihong said shyly, my name is Yuihong. I see, my name is Kirito, hello. Namikaze Minato stretched out his hand with a smile. Kurenai Yui also stretched out her white and tender hand, and held each other together. This scene directly made Sarutobi Asuma's eyes widen. Hey, you be asterisk 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 d, what are you thinking about when? Come at me if you have the ability. Asuma, you have to be polite. No way. Before Namikaze Minato could say anything, Yuihong took the lead in admonishing Asuma. The two were childhood sweethearts, so this lesson was justified. Hearing that the goddess was dissatisfied with her performance, Sarutobi Asuma also shut her mouth resentfully. Namikaze Minato didn't look at Sarutobi Asuma at all, his gentle eyes were fixed on Xiaojun anti-Japanese red. Kurenai Yui was a little unnatural to be stared at by the other party's straightforward eyes. Do we know each other? Don't you know each other now? Namikaze Minato squatted down and met Arihong's eyes, what a pair of beautiful eyes. Haha, are you a lolicon? Advertisement finally, Jiraiya walked over from the dark, although she was smiling, she looked at Namikaze Minato and Orochimaru with vigilance. Who knows? Jiraiya's teasing didn't change Namikaze Minato's mind, he put his hand on Kurenai Yui's head. If there is a chance, let's get to know each other again. Hong didn't know what was wrong with her. Under normal circumstances, if a stranger touched her head, she would have stopped him with words, but at this time, she didn't have the idea of refusing at all. He even enjoyed the other party's head touching. This is a pain for Sarutobi Asuma. When Namikaze Minato reached out to touch Kurenai Yui, he wanted to stand up and stop the other party, but he would be unhappy if he became popular like that. He could only watch helplessly as his goddess was taken advantage of by the other party. Are you two travelers? Seeing Namikaze Minato stand up, Jiraiya pretended to be casual and asked. Well, we want to see how the world is different. Namikaze Minato said meaningfully. Jiraiya couldn't understand what the other party was saying, so she acquiesced that the other party was a traveler. Minato, I just haven't seen Kushina for a long time, can you invite me to your house together? Of course, Mr. Jiraiya. Hearing that his teacher was going too, Namikaze Minato responded excitedly. Namikaze Minato doesn't dislike Jiraiya's meddling, after all, he is also concerned about the safety of his parents. 0.9. Then, after several people exchanged a few words of greeting again, Namikaze Minato led the way ahead and headed for his home. But Yu Hong stood in place, looking at the figure of the man in the distance. The big eyes are full of doubts. She has been thinking about what is going on, who is that man, and what is this feeling in her heart. Sarutobi Asuma stood on the sidelines, dared not speak out. He didn't dare to make Yu Hong angry, but the hatred for Namikaze Kirito grew deeper in his heart. Along the way, Namikaze Kirito looked at the familiar scenery around him, and couldn't help feeling a little emotional. Before I knew it, so much time had passed. I don't know if the regrets I had in the past can be made up for this time. Soon, Namikaze Minato's home arrived. Looking at the familiar gate, Namikaze Kirito's eyes were filled with warmth. Chapter 137 Goodbye Sarutobi Hiruzen. As soon as the door was opened, Uzumaki Kushina greeted him, and she was waiting for Minato at home. But no cooking, after all Minato was going to eat Ichiraku ramen before. After opening the door, Kushina couldn't help but blush when she saw several people coming to her home. You know, at this time she is not yet married to Namikaze Minato. The two are just boyfriend and girlfriend, so I didn't expect so many people to appear all of a sudden. Minato, you are back. Even Jiraiya teacher ba her. Jiraiya scratched her head. Sorry, Kushina, it won't disturb you and Minato, will it? M's Jiraiya. Facing his teacher's ridicule, Namikaze Minato was speechless. He knew Jiraiya's character, of course he wouldn't say anything. Just then, Uzumaki Kushina noticed Namikaze Kirito. Especially the red hair on the other side. You are? By the way, Kushina, I haven't introduced you yet. This is Uzumaki Kirito, a member of the Uzumaki clan. The other is his companion. Namikaze Minato hurriedly introduced the two to Uzumaki Kushina. People from the Uzumaki clan? 21 Looking at Namikaze Kirito, Uzumaki Kushina also had a familiar feeling in his heart, which was the feeling of blood connection, but at the moment when he heard Namikaze Minato's introduction, he only felt that the other party was his clan. That's why it feels like this. People of the clan, Uzumaki Kushina has not met the rest of the Uzumaki clan since the death of Grandma Mito. How could he not be excited to see Namikaze Kirito now? He hurriedly dodged and let the two of them enter the room. Looking at the familiar scene around, Namikaze Kirito's eyes also flashed a trace of warmth. This is his home. On the other hand, Orochimaru looked at his leader, Namikaze Kirito, with interest, but there were not many such emotions. As if sensing Orochimaru's gaze, Namikaze Kirito turned his head and smiled. This smile directly made Orochimaru's heart tremble, and he quickly looked elsewhere. Kushina, Jiraiya and Kirito haven't eaten yet. I want to see you show off, so let me help you too. It is said that Uzumaki Kushina is not dissatisfied at all, and it is already the biggest surprise to see his own people. It just so happens that there are still ingredients left at home at this time, so I can show my skills. Advertisement Minato and his wife went straight to the kitchen and got busy. And Namikaze Kirito was sitting on a chair at this time, eating the fruit in front of him without any notice. Jiraiya sat across from him. Boy, are you very ignorant? Jiraiya. One of the Sanin, I have heard of your name for a long time. I saw you today, and I am very vigilant. But you don't have to worry, Namikaze Kirito said meaningfully. I don't have the slightest malice towards your disciple and his wife, I just missed the last meal. Better like this. Hearing that the other party was so frank, Jiraiya stopped pretending and nodded directly. Bang bang bang. At this moment, there was a sudden knock on Yin's door. Seeing that Minato and his wife were busy, Jiraiya came directly to the door. Opened the door. An old man in a Hokage imperial robe walked in straight away. Seeing the person coming, Jiraiya couldn't help being taken aback. Old man, what's wrong with you? Jiraiya, don't you welcome me? Hearing the conversation between the two, the Minatos quickly put down their work and came to the door. Master third generation, you are here. Minato and Kushina, you don't need to look outside. The old man, I was kicked out by my family because I went back late. Is it okay to come here for a meal? Of course, sir third generation, please come in. Minato and his wife invited third Hokage into the room. And Namikaze Kirito was still eating the fruit at this time, and he didn't look at the approaching Sarutobi Hiruzen at all. You don't need to look to know that the other party must be looking at the two of you carefully. In fact, Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't have time to come to Minato's house for a meal. The reason why he came here was entirely because of his old buddy, Shimura Danzo. The conversation between Minato and Namikaze Kirito has long been passed on to his ears by root ninjas. This problem of Nine Tails Jinchuriki is not a trivial matter. He immediately intends to control people. Advertisement however, Sarutobi Hiruzen did not agree with this matter at all, and now Namikaze Minato has the highest voice and will soon become fourth Hokage. The reason for choosing Namikaze Minato, Sarutobi Hiruzen also has his own considerations. First of all, Namikaze Minato is from a commoner background, and he will not affect himself at all when it comes to power issues. Adding that Hina is Namikaze Minato's girlfriend, this will guarantee Jinchuriki's bond with fire. Now Shimura Danzo intends to go to Namikaze Minato's house to pick someone up, but Uzumaki Kushina has never met anyone of his own race. With a hot temper, she would never agree. If there is a conflict because of this, it will be bad, just as Sarutobi Hiruzen also wants to see what happens when the Uzumaki clan comes to Konoha. So he came here by himself to try it out. Sarutobi Hiruzen sat directly next to Jiraiya, staring at Namikaze Kirito with a pair of cloudy eyes. Are you the third Hokage called Shinobi? At this time, the middle-aged man disguised by Orochimaru spoke first. I'm just an old man retiring. Sarutobi Hiruzen spoke modestly, and his face was full of 717 kindness. People who don't know him may really think that this is a kind old man. Where is it? Judging by your current state, you are always growing stronger. Orochimaru said meaningfully. Hearing this, Jiraiya frowned. The ordinary middle-aged man in front of him was not only familiar in appearance, but also seemed to have heard the words somewhere. Who on earth is it? After thinking hard for a long time, I couldn't get the answer, but the anxiety in my heart grew bigger and bigger. At this moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen directly opened his mouth to test. The two are travelers. I don't know how to look at our Konoha. Shouldn't it be said that it is the largest village in the ninja world? When I came to Konoha, I felt the prosperity that is different from other places. It really increased my knowledge. Orochimaru spoke softly, but the answer is not what Sarutobi Hiruzen wants to hear. He has been looking at Namikaze Kirito. Trying to hear something from his mouth, it was Orochimaru who answered him. This is a headache. Thinking of this, Sarutobi Hiruzen decided to be more direct. Looking at Namikaze Kirito. You are from the Uzumaki clan, don't you know there are clansmen around you? Well, at present, there should be none, and I haven't seen other clansmen. Isn't our clan already extinct? After forming an alliance with Konoha. Advertisement Chapter 138 Nine Tails Changes Clang. Hearing Namikaze Kirito's words, Kushina, who was cooking not far away, directly dropped the spoon on the ground. Namikaze Minato knew what his girlfriend was thinking at this time. He picked up the spoon directly and comforted him softly. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Jiraiya on the opposite side were even more stagnant. They didn't expect Namikaze Kirito to say such words. But what the other party said was not wrong. You know, the logo on the back of the ninja vest is the family emblem of the Uzumaki clan. From the beginning of Konoha's establishment, it has been very friendly with the Uzumaki family. After all, the princess of the Uzumaki family, Uzumaki Mito, is the wife of Senju Hashirama. The Uzumaki clan was exterminated because ninjas from other countries were afraid of their powerful sealing technique and their physique, which was born with Jinchuriki's physique. Coupled with the sealing technique, it couldn't be easier to control the tailed beast. As an alliance village, Konoha did not lend a helping hand when the Uzumaki clan was wiped out. This is also one of the stains that cannot be erased when Sarutobi Hiruzen was in power. At this time, Namikaze Kirito said it directly on the face. Even in his city, he was a little embarrassed and didn't know what to say. Jiraiya could see the embarrassment of the teacher. Although he also had opinions on this matter, he couldn't show it at this time. The matter of the Uzumaki family really makes us sad. You have been alone all these years. You must have lived a very hard life. How did you live? Hearing this, Namikaze Kirito's face didn't change at all. It was still the same indifferent look. How else can I live? Just try to live on. Seeing that the other party didn't want to talk at all, Jiraiya had no choice but to test Namikaze Kirito's identity by asking that question just now. Now the other party has no intention of answering at all, and in Minato's home, it's not easy to tear your face, not to mention that he didn't cause harm to Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Namikaze Kirito with cloudy eyes. For some reason, just such a young man who didn't seem to have any chakra in his body made him feel a sense of crisis. If it is someone else, you may feel that you have an illusion. But Sarutobi Hiruzen is different. He knows that this is definitely not an illusion, it is the experience cultivated through years of fighting. The young man of the Uzumaki clan in front of him is definitely hiding something, and it is definitely not as simple as it seems on the surface. Advertisement. The meal is ready. Just when everyone was thinking about it, Minato's voice sounded, and then I saw him carrying the meal and putting it on the table. There were a lot of people, so the couple cooked enough meals. Orochimaru was not interested in these meals, and his eyes were sizing up Sarutobi Hiruzen and Jiraiya casually. The same is true for Sarutobi Hiruzen and Jiraiya. They're thinking in their hearts whether the two people in front of them will cause harm to the village. Only Namikaze Kirito is eating right now. This is a meal made by my mother, so of course it can't be wasted. Kushina looked at Namikaze Kirito's eating and didn't feel disgusted, but was full of gratified smiles. Who doesn't like to be appreciated for their food, not to mention that the person in front of him is also his own clan. Namikaze Minato was also full of praise while eating Kushina's food. Is your name Uzumaki Kirito? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked directly. The reason why he decided to do so was because he sensed the situation outside the door. At this time, Anbu and the Roots joined together and surrounded the whole house. Of course Namikaze Kirito could feel it too, but with his current strength, it would not be too easy to deal with these people. At this moment, an extremely evil chakra suddenly appeared on Kushina's body. The reason for this is that the 9 tails in her body sensed Namikaze Kirito. She had been sleeping before, but the moment she opened her eyes, she felt the breath of Namikaze Kirito. It was the same dangerous smell as Old Man Six Paths. Kushina couldn't help showing pain, and then put the consciousness into the body, intending to strengthen the seal. Facing Kushina's anomaly, Namikaze Minato hugged her directly, looking anxiously at his girlfriend's situation. As Jinchuriki, he is still the strongest 9 tails. This situation also happens occasionally, but it can only be resolved by Kushina herself. Namikaze Minato can only wait. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Jiraiya watched Namikaze Kirito and Orochimaru warily. As soon as the two outsiders came here, something abnormal happened to 9 tails. If it had nothing to do with them, ghosts would not believe it. Keeping a close eye on the two, as long as the other party makes any move, Sarutobi Hiruzen will let the ninjas outside the door swarm up. Advertisement. Faced with such a situation, Namikaze Kirito still ate his meals on his own. But what no one knows is that at this time his spirit also entered Kushina's body. As soon as he entered the location of the sealed nine tails, he saw a huge cage with a seal on it. The nine tails inside are roaring as it is being suppressed by Kushina's adamantine sealing chains. Unbearable pain, a pair of violent eyes stared at the woman in front of him. It suddenly sensed Namikaze Kirito's approach and turned its head directly behind Kushina. The other party doesn't seem very old, so how could they know about the events before the Sengoku era? You know, this name was given to them by the Sage of Six Paths. Originally, Kushina was still thinking about how the other party got in, but when he thought that he was also from the Uzumaki clan, there must be a way to enter the sealed place. But for some reason, Kushina subconsciously believed in Namikaze Kirito, and she absolutely would not harm her. Namikaze Kirito stepped forward slowly. Under normal circumstances, one should have been wary of the other party's intentions. Namikaze Kirito closed his eyes first, then opened them again, and he has turned into a pair of golden renegons. Kurama, why don't you be more honest with yourself? Kushina, who didn't know why, also turned her head back, exhaling in surprise. What should I do in the face of a Tsunere person or a tailed beast? It's very simple, just tell the truth to the other party. Namikaze Kirito sighed helplessly. Five Tails was really arrogant. You little devil of the Uzumaki family, how could you have the aura of Old Man Six Paths on your body, and you also know the name of the old man? I saw Namikaze Kirito coming to the cage, looking at the restless nine tails inside, stroking the cage with his slender fingers. Her intuition is not wrong. How could there be children in the world who would hurt their parents, Lees? I heard Namikaze Kirito say to him again. Seeing that he opened his mouth, Nine Tails struggled even more frantically. Kirito, why are you here? Hearing Namikaze Kirito call out his name sent Nine Tails straight into shock. Ju Kushina, sister, leave this big fox to me. Chapter 139. Tension. What is this thing? Renegon, it's still golden, how can that be? Seeing those familiar eyes, Nine Tails' eyes were full of disbelief, and even his body began to tremble. Because it felt the coercion of these eyes, this coercion was even higher than that of Six Paths' old man. Having lived in that time, Nine Tails certainly knew how strong the eyes of the Sage of Six Paths were. Uchiha Madara's Sharingan can completely restrain it, not to mention the eyes of immortals. Little devil, who are you? The hairs all over Nine Tails in the cage stood up right now, and it knew that the person in front of it was too dangerous. There is even the aura of other tailed beasts on the opponent's body. Kushina looked at Nine Tails, who was facing a formidable enemy, with a hint of shock. Finally someone can cure you, big fox, as expected of my fellow clan, that is strong. Facing Nine Tails' inquiry, Namikaze Kirito did not answer it, and said, Nine Tails, if you want to live well, I hope you keep quiet. And in the days to come, you must fully support your host, otherwise. Hearing Namikaze Kirito's threatening words, how could the arrogant Kurama admit cowardice, only to see it stretched out a claw, and the sharp nail tip stopped in front of Namikaze Kirito. Zimwang 10 cold opening. Otherwise what will happen to you, brat? A beast must have the self-awareness of a beast. I don't like this kind of behavior. Seeing Nine Tails' movements, Namikaze Kirito's eyes turned cold, as if the aura of the sky fell on Nine Tails suddenly. Hateful. The bones were screaming, the flesh was being torn apart, Nine Tails crawled on the ground, staring at Namikaze Kirito with bloodshot eyes. It seems that they want to kill each other with their eyes. Namikaze Kirito spoke in a voice that only the two of them could hear. Tailed beasts are not unkillable. If you want to live on, just listen to me, otherwise I don't mind turning 9 tailed beasts into 8. Feeling the physical changes, Nine Tails knew that what the human being in front of him said was true. As long as they can live, it doesn't matter if they are aggrieved in the seal. The reason why the tailed beasts are not afraid of the strong human beings is because they know clearly that they will not die at all. Even if it is killed, it will be resurrected very quickly. The combination of 9 tailed beasts is 10 tails, which is the will of the world. Human beings can seal and control them, but they cannot be killed. This is also where 9 Tails is confident, but look at the human beings in front of them. Advertisement 9 Tails confessed for the first time, it retracted its restless chakra, and lowered its ferocious head. Seeing the cute appearance of 9 Tails, Kushina walked over. Putting his hand directly into the cage, he stroked 9 Tails' big nose. Looking at it this way, are you still cute? When Kushina touched its nose, it was obvious that he regarded it as a pet. If it was before, she must show the color of the other party. But now Namikaze Kirito is standing on the side, let alone show the other party some color. Once there is a change, it is estimated that he will disappear immediately. Out of sight, out of mind, without stopping Kushina's move, 9 Tails directly closed his eyes. It seems to have resigned to fate. 9 Tails' inaction directly made Kushina laugh out loud. Seeing her mother happy, Namikaze Kirito was of course equally happy. Sister Kushina, don't worry, from now on, this big fox will listen to you. Really, Kirito, you are amazing. Kushina's eyes were full of excitement. When performing tasks, she relied on sealing techniques except for some ninjutsu, but 9 Tails always made trouble at critical moments. In the process of carrying out the task, Namikaze Minato is also required to clean up. Now hearing Namikaze Kirito's words, Kushina clenched her fists, happy that she can help her boyfriend in the future. While Kushina was happy, Namikaze had quietly disappeared in the sealed place. In reality, Namikaze Minato couldn't help but relax looking at the smiling Kushina. And Namikaze Kirito, CBEB, was eating the delicious food on the table with a smile on his face. Finally, Kushina woke up. Kushina, that's great, you're fine, don't worry about me. Seeing the anxious look on Namikaze Minato's face, Kushina reached out and stroked that face. Don't worry, Minato, I'll be fine. Then Kushina sat up straight and looked at Namikaze Kirito. Kirito, thank you, Nine Tails is very obedient now. As soon as these words came out, everyone in Shashang was shocked. What are you talking about, Kushina? Advertisement. Namikaze Minato asked with a dazed expression. Namikaze Kirito had been eating all the time, so how could he have something to do with subduing Nine Tails? Hearing Kushina's thanks, Namikaze Kirito wiped the corner of his mouth with a napkin, and said with a smile. It's okay. Nine Tails will cooperate with you in the future, you can use it as much as you want. Little ghost, what the hell are you? Different from the kindness of Minato and his wife, Sarutobi Hiruzen has a cold face at this time. A person who could solve Nine Tails silently under his watchful eyes would definitely not give a simple answer, and the other party never explained his intentions. How could you not get nervous? Whoosh, in an instant, the room was full of ninjas, all of them were rude and Anbu ninjas. Really, can't you let me have a quiet meal? Namikaze Kirito reluctantly put down the bowl and chopsticks in his hands, and looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen playfully. I didn't expect that in this world, the natives would match up so quickly. Hey, old man, what do you mean? You threatened my people first, and then brought so many ninjas here? Kushina doesn't care about that. Namikaze Kirito has just rescued her, and she is also a compatriot of the Uzumaki clan. If someone wants to hurt him, I will be the first to disagree. Namikaze Minato also looked at Jiraiya. Master, third generation, he. Looking at Namikaze Minato, who hesitated to speak, Jiraiya didn't know what his disciple was thinking. Sighing helplessly, he looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen. Old man, let these people leave first. Jiraiya, at this time, the relationship between various villages is tense, and war is imminent. As Hokage, I must ensure the safety of the village. You don't need to say more. Then he looked at the Minato couple. I just want to investigate his identity. If it's not a last resort, I won't hurt him, don't worry. Hearing this, Orochimaru couldn't help but laugh out loud. Jiraiya frowned. For some reason, he was disgusted by the laughter of the middle-aged man in front of him. What are you laughing at? Orochimaru ignored Jiraiya's question and looked directly at Sarutobi Hiruzen. As expected of third Hokage, Jiraiya has been talking about it all the time, but do you really think you can hurt the leader? Chapter 140. Who are you? Hearing Orochimaru's words, the pupils of Sarutobi Hiruzen and Jiraiya constricted, and they noticed two words in each other's words. Leader. Generally speaking, the word leader is used to describe the leader of a force, that is to say, the other party owns an organization. Then what is the purpose of their coming to Konoha? They also contacted Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki with a purpose. I wouldn't believe it if it was just a coincidence. What do you mean? Who are you? What is the purpose of coming to Konoha? Sarutobi Hiruzen spoke in a cold voice. Following his words, many Anbu ninjas on the side took out their weapons and looked at the two people in the field vigilantly. Facing such a battle, Namikaze Kirito did not panic in the slightest, and was still eating the rice in the bowl, while Orochimaru's eyes flashed a trace of disdain. With just such a few people, Orochimaru, who now has the perfect Mangekyo, can handle it all by himself without the help of his own leader. Including Sarutobi Hiruzen and Jiraiya in front of you. Although he has been doing research in Gensokyo, he has not fallen behind in terms of strength. He is the person who is most willing to experiment on himself. No matter what strange blood inheritance limit or special physique, including Hashirama cells, he can integrate it into himself. After all, with the convenient dark energy of the leader, it would be irresponsible for him not to master some abilities. Here we go again. Jiraiya looked at Orochimaru in front of him. The familiar feeling in his heart reappeared. This look was imprinted in his heart. Obviously the two have never met before, but what is this strange sense of familiarity? Unlike Jiraiya, who was thinking, Sarutobi Hiruzen saw that the two did not reply, and the aura on his body began to show. At this time, he is not as old as he will be in the future. Although the title of the strongest Hokage is fake, he has to admit that he is also a generation of strong. If he could maintain the mentality he had when he was called Shinobu, Konoha would not become what he was later. Namikaze Kirito would not have experienced such misery. It's just such a little momentum, don't show it to embarrass yourself. A terrifying aura suddenly appeared in the room. Although Minato and his wife didn't feel anything, Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was facing Namikaze Kirito, almost fell to the ground. It took courage and all the strength of the whole body to withstand the terrifying momentum, and the same was true for Jiraiya. The tabletop he was holding was completely cracked. The Anbu ninjas on the side were not so lucky with a muffled sound. They were all lying on the ground. What's more, their mouths and noses had begun to spurt blood, which looked abnormally permeable. Facing this scene, Namikaze Minato's eyes were somewhat complicated. Advertisement. Although in his heart, he is on the side of Namikaze Kirito, but he is also a person of Konoha. Kushina, on the other hand, didn't have so many ideas. It was right to fight back when her own clan was targeted by Sarutobi Hiruzen and others. Besides, no one died yet? It's nothing. The sudden momentum from Namikaze Kirito directly shocked Sarutobi Hiruzen. He looked at the young man in front of him in disbelief. This kind of momentum, even in the face of his own teacher, has never been felt. How can such a young person have such terrifying strength? Even looking at his relaxed and comfortable appearance, it is obvious that he has not used all his strength. Sarutobi Hiruzen's guess was correct. If Namikaze Kirito had really used all his strength at this time, the house would have collapsed long ago. He doesn't want to destroy his home. After all, there are countless memories of him here, not to mention that there are still parents who don't know the truth standing next to him. If the person who killed Konoha in front of them at this time, it is not easy to explain. At this moment, Orochimaru stood up, and of course he would not be targeted by Namikaze Kirito's momentum. Slowly walking in front of Jiraiya, he said softly, "You be asterisk 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 D. No matter when you look at it, you look like an idiot." Hearing this, Jiraiya's pupils widened. Who did he finally remember? Orochimaru. These are definitely Orochimaru's words, and they are too similar in terms of demeanor and tone. But it's not right. Orochimaru was clearly on a mission, and he contacted himself before. How could he appear here? Thinking of this, Jiraiya's eyes became even colder. Who are you guys? Hearing Jiraiya's question, the corners of Namikaze Kirito's mouth rose. Finally, the time has come to witness whether history can be changed. As I said before, my name is Uzumaki Boruto. I'm actually lying to you. Amidst the shocked expressions of the crowd, Namikaze Kirito spoke slowly. Asking for flowers. My real name is Namikaze Kirito. Namikaze Kirito? Namikaze Kirito of the Uzumaki clan? No matter how nervous Jiraiya is, his head is still running fast at this moment. Advertisement looking at Namikaze Kirito's face similar to Minato and Kushina, plus the identity of the Uzumaki clan and Namikaze's surname. And when the other party came, he talked to Namikaze Minato. This, Namikaze? Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina also watched Namikaze Kirito in disbelief. If so, isn't the other party his own child? Impossible, the two are not married yet. Where's this big child? But the feeling of being connected by blood in my heart can't be faked. Before that, Kushina always thought it was because of the same race, but in the end, such a shocking ugly melon broke out. Zero Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't believe this sentence. Even if the evidence was on his face, he would not admit it. How could such an outrageous thing happen? How can you be Minato's child? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Just then, the door was pushed open again, and it was Orochimaru. He had received news from Sarutobi Hiruzen earlier, and it happened that the place where the mission was performed was not far from Konoha, so he brought people back directly. Seeing the scene at the scene, he was also a little stunned. My own teacher and that idiot Jiraiya were suppressed by each other, and even Anbu fell to the ground. What kind of strong man can cause the scene in front of him? Seeing the younger Orochimaru appear, Orochimaru, disguised as a middle-aged future, has a bright eye. It's really strange to look at yourself like this. Hearing what Orochimaru said in the future, everyone was a little confused, only Jiraiya looked shocked. Namikaze Kirito said that he is Minato's child, plus the feeling of familiarity in his heart. If I didn't guess wrong, I'm afraid I'm going through a terrible thing. Young Orochimaru went straight to Sarutobi Hiruzen and looked at Namikaze Kirito with interest. Sensei, is this person from the Uzumaki clan the target? Seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen nodding, Orochimaru licked his lips, took out kunai, and put on a fighting stance. Chapter 141 to Orochimaru. Namikaze Kirito let out a chuckle at the young Orochimaru's gesture. Then he turned his head to look at the future Orochimaru. Hey, when you were young, were you so loyal? In the future, Orochimaru also smiled slightly, looking at his younger self. Maybe at this time, I haven't been completely disappointed in this guy Sarutobi Hiruzen? Okay. The conversation between the two was clearly heard by the young Orochimaru. There are several key points in the dialogue. When I was young, I was disappointed with Sarutobi Hiruzen. Could it be? In order not to confuse the young Orochimaru with Jiraiya, the future Orochimaru who pretended to be a middle-aged man changed back directly. The sudden appearance of that familiar face frightened everyone. Originally, I was skeptical about the fact that Namikaze Kirito was the son of Namikaze Minato, but the appearance of Orochimaru's 4-9 masters directly made everyone inclined to tell the truth. After all, Orochimaru both appeared in two. What could be more shocking than this? Interesting, is it actually me? Young Orochimaru looked at the face of the future Orochimaru and laughed out loud. It was great to come back from this trip, obviously seeing such an interesting scene. With Orochimaru's mind, it is not difficult to guess that this is the future self. After all, everything can be changed, but the breath cannot be changed. As a scientist, even a scientist who likes to experiment on himself, how can he not know himself? Looking at the more mature face of the other party, the young Orochimaru immediately guessed that this was his future self. Then he looked at Namikaze Kirito. If he guessed correctly, he was the subordinate of this person. This is easy to guess. The identities of the two, and the respect they unconsciously looked at Namikaze Kirito, must be the other party who subdued him and made him follow him sincerely. This is really difficult. Big, Orochimaru? Sarutobi Hiruzen still doesn't want to believe that all of this is true at this time. If Orochimaru really gets involved with Namikaze Minato's child in the future, but as the other party's subordinate, is it right? Become a Hokage? Advertisement. Since the current Orochimaru has not defected yet, Sarutobi Hiruzen can only think that Namikaze Kirito is the future Hokage. Only Hokage can have Orochimaru, one of the Sannin, as a subordinate, isn't it? Hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's call, future Orochimaru stepped forward, completely ignoring Jiraiya and his younger self. Teacher, it's been a long time since I saw your face. When I see you again, I just want to study it carefully. After all, you didn't leave any corpses behind, it's a pity. Hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes were full of seriousness. It has been determined that the other party came from the future, that is to say, what this Orochimaru said is what happened in the future. I am so old that I have no bones left. What kind of enemy did he face? He couldn't even think of it. In the future, under the means of Namikaze Kirito, he would fall in love with his good friend and kill each other. Orochimaru, what is the purpose of your coming? Sarutobi Hiruzen quickly changed the subject, he didn't want to continue thinking about his own death. Teacher, we also came here unintentionally, and let's take a look at Konoha at this time. Just when Orochimaru and Sarutobi Hiruzen had been together for a long time, the Minato couple also came to Namikaze Kirito's side. Kushina stretched out a hand, stroking the face similar to her own. Are you really our child? Father, Chi. Namikaze Kirito directly admitted his identity, his eyes full of warmth. Kirito, Kushina hugged Namikaze Kirito, her heart was full of joy, she never thought that the future child would be so big, and even have the ability to suppress 9 tails. Seeing such an outstanding child, the mother will of course be very proud. And Namikaze Minato is frowning at this time, seems to be thinking about something. Seeing her boyfriend like this, Kushina didn't get angry and punched him directly. Minato, this is our future child. Child, why aren't you happy at all? When it was said that the other party was the child of the two, Kushina's face was covered with blush. After all, at this time, the two of them were not married yet, and a child of such an age suddenly appeared. Advertisement Namikaze Minato knew what Kushina meant, but he still smiled wryly and said, Kushina, calm down, I know he is our child, I am also very happy, but... With a complicated gaze, Namikaze Minato looked at Namikaze Kirito. Kirito just revealed his identity, which may affect what happened in the future. They came from the future, that is to say, if there is a slight deviation, it will affect the future. Even our children may not be born. Namikaze Minato's IQ is very high, so he thinks more about Namikaze Kirito's identity exposure. The history of the ninja world will not change easily, you can rest assured. Especially the person involved, his own child, Namikaze Kirito, what if he is in danger in the future, or even disappears fundamentally? This is just a parallel world. Namikaze Minato nodded. It seems that this is the only way to go, but for those who know about this matter, we must seal the memory. 3. Hearing Namikaze Minato speak so seriously, Kushina also had a worried look on his face. In other words, no matter what happens in this time and space, it will not really change the future. If this is a real force capable of changing history, it makes no sense that the mastermind wouldn't show up, especially after the Namikaze Barrel Man took the initiative to reveal his identity. Of course Kushina, who belongs to the Uzumaki family, can do it too. Everyone knows the butterfly effect, because a butterfly flaps its wings unintentionally, which may cause a series of major events such as tornadoes and tsunamis. It's all right, father. Before Namikaze Minato could finish speaking, Namikaze Kirito interrupted him directly. If it is really because of this, what happens in the future, how can we pay back? This is no joke. At this time, Namikaze Kirito did not feel any fluctuation of transcendence at all. Although the ninja world does not have the term butterfly effect, Namikaze Minato is still worried. Then, what should we do? Otherwise, let's use the sealing technique to seal our memories. Namikaze Kirito looked out the window. The sky was dark at this time, with bright stars shining occasionally. The solution that Kushina said is indeed the best solution. In the legend of Boruto, Jiraiya is also afraid of changes in the future, so she seals her memory. Chapter 142 Let the wheel of history go faster. Namikaze Kirito's words did not reassure Minato at all. He was still worried that history would be easily changed. But his own child said so he didn't refute, but there was still a little worry in his eyes. At this time, the younger Orochimaru, under the coercion of Namikaze Kirito, walked in front of him step by step. Do I call you the leader in the future? I wonder if you can tell me what will happen next? Orochimaru, shut up, carefully changed the course of history. Jiraiya obviously also knew what this would bring to the future, so she hurriedly stopped it. But Orochimaru won't listen to him, his snake eyes are still staring at Namikaze Kirito. Oh, he said that. What do you think? Namikaze Kirito glanced at the young Orochimaru with interest, and then set his sights on the future Orochimaru. Should I say that it's me? Future Orochimaru looks at his younger self with interest and a hint of danger. He wondered what would happen if he was brought back to his own world as a young man. If so, is it still him? In the future, Orochimaru has never considered whether history will be changed. After all, what his leader said is absolutely true. What's more, it doesn't matter to change history, he is only interested in scientific research. And if you want to prove it, the only way is to experiment. If Orochimaru from this world is brought back to that world, will he be wiped out by the will of the world, or will it cause the collapse of the entire world? Or it's good to study your own body. After all, you can't always use him to experiment. Namikaze Kirito looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen again. When the young Orochimaru asked this question just now, Jiraiya stopped him, but Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't. Both Namikaze Minato and Jiraiya knew the danger of this. But Sarutobi Hiruzen still let the young Orochimaru ask. It can be seen that he said that he would die before, which made him brood. Even if there were not too many people here, he himself would like to ask what happened to the final outcome. Since he wants to know, just let him do it. Thinking of this, Namikaze Kirito said slowly, Yo, It seems that our Lord Third Generation is also very concerned about the news of his death, but don't worry. The old man didn't. Without waiting for Sarutobi Hiruzen to defend, Namikaze Kirito interrupted directly. Advertisement: since you and Orochimaru want to know what the future holds, let me tell you. However, if you only express it in words, it's too boring. Let's take a look at the real future. The illusion of 5 senses control was activated instantly, covering the entire room. Everyone in the room was brought into the world of illusion by Namikaze Kirito. The young Orochimaru saw that he and several people around him had become soul-like existences, and there was a Konoha village in front of him. Is this the future? It's really an interesting experience. It seems that the future self can learn more about the truth. It's better to find a chance to kill the future self, and let the present self follow Namikaze Kirito. Seemingly sensing the other party's killing intent, Sleepy Orochi turned his head and looked at himself. Shockingly, his eyes, which should have been snake eyes, turned into Sharingan, but the top Mangekyo Sharingan of the Uchiha clan. Sarutobi Hiruzen, Jiraiya and Minato also felt this miraculous change. Can't help but sigh the magic of Namikaze Kirito's ability. Not long after, Konoha in front of their eyes suddenly heard a loud noise. A huge fox appeared on the spot. This scene frightened everyone. Isn't this Nine Tails? How could Nine Tails appear, but it's still in Konoha village? How many people would be killed or injured if it were to wreak havoc? As they expected, Nine Tails really started to wreak havoc at this time, with roars, howls, and roars. Konoha was confused. And then, a man wearing a Hokage imperial robe appeared, with blonde hair that made everyone recognize the identity of the other party. Namikaze Minato. Has it really become 4th Hokage? Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed. And Kushina looked worriedly at Minato aside. If the Nine Tails appear, it proves that the seal has been broken. As we all know, Jinchuriki will definitely die after losing the tail beast. If he died, what should Minato do? And what about your own children? Both mother and wife are great. Even at this time, her first worry is what will happen to her husband and children after she dies. Your own safety is put at the end. Advertisement. The pictures kept passing by, and soon, it came to the scene of life and death. Seeing her child standing in front of the two, Kushina covered her mouth with worry in her eyes. And in the end, my 2 children were fine, and only Minato and I died, so I was relieved. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the picture, feeling a little complicated in his heart, and he also saw himself in the distance. It seems that at this time, he has not died yet. The 4th generation died suddenly, so he should be in power again. Jiraiya is full of remorse. He hates himself. Why at this moment, others are not here? Where did you go? B*****************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************̈ Immediately afterwards, Namikaze Kirito was seen taking away the bodies of Minato and his wife. This strange ability also made them watch carefully. Afterwards, in the ward, Namikaze Kirito 033 was clearly awake, but dared not open his eyes. The reason is the conspiracy of Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo. These 2 old bastards, with a good temper like Jiraiya, she can't help but glaring at Sarutobi Hiruzen. Not to mention Kushina, who is a mother. She saw her son clearly awake but couldn't open his eyes and felt the helplessness. How old was he then? We must endure such intrigue. Minato looked at 3rd Hokage whom he had always respected and couldn't help feeling a little sad. The elder son is like this, so will the younger son who has turned him into Nine Tails Jinchuriki be okay? Kushina waved her fist. If she was not a spirit body at this time, she would have punched Sarutobi Hiruzen hard. The picture continued to change, and Jiraiya's arrival made the 2 very gratified. In this way, Namikaze Kirito has a backer. The conspiracy should never befall him. Following the conversation between Sarutobi Hiruzen, Shimura Danzo and Jiraiya in the illusion, the Nine Tails Jinchuriki plan was also slowly presented in front of everyone. What shit Nine Tails Jinchuriki plan? Let his eldest son not be able to recognize his younger brother. Obviously the 2 have lost their parents. Are you still going to be separated? Uzumaki Naruto. Even with his own surname, Kushina could not accept this so-called Nine Tails Jinchuriki plan. Chapter 143 Breaking the defense of Sarutobi Hiruzen. The old man must also be thinking about Konoha. Everyone glared at each other, and Sarutobi Hiruzen could only explain dryly that he regretted knowing the truth now, and if nothing unexpected happened after he got out of the illusion world. His 3rd Hokage has no prestige in front of Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina, including his disciple Jiraiya. The screen flashes, Namikaze Kirito leaves Konoha village, and sees the tragedy of Naruto in the whirlpool again. The Minato couple was directly drawn from the heart. What is all this for? The 2 were obviously working hard for the village, but in the end they got this result. The eldest son was forced to leave Konoha, and the second son didn't even have the status of a hero's son. He was called a demon fox. Even the nanny who came to take care of him was full of disgust. If it weren't for the appearance of Namikaze Kirito, I am afraid there will be a worse result. When Namikaze Kirito left the village, the sadness and stubbornness in his eyes were also seen by the 2. Kushina was already in tears at this time. She did not expect that her children would suffer such pain after the 2 died. Especially the eldest son. How much should he bear? They have to fight wits and bravery with the village seniors, and they have to silently endure the separation of their family members. You must know that Namikaze Kirito has already remembered things in their eyes at this time, but he shows an unusual calmness. Only his eyes can prove how sad he is at this moment. Then Jiraiya brought Namikaze Kirito to Tsunade's side and began to practice. Looking at the child who basically does not rest every day and has been training. The Minato couple knew that Namikaze Kirito was preparing for their family reunion. When he took off his clothes, the scars all over his body proved Namikaze Kirito's hard work. In many cases, he even fainted due to training loss. This is all the fault of 3rd Hokage and Shimura Danzo. Thinking of this, Kushina hated Sarutobi Hiruzen even more in her heart. Feeling her emotions, Nine Tails couldn't help but smile a little. It's a combination of hate and evil. Very sensitive to this emotion. Hate, grieve, that brat treats the old man like this, you also bear this pain. After that, Namikaze Kirito is completed and he returns to Konoha. Seeing the two sons standing together, the eyes of the Minato couple were filled with relief. The eldest son has grown up and will soon be able to protect his younger brother. Advertisement. Then it's time to conquer Orochimaru and head to Sand Shinobi Village. The first time I showed my strength, everyone's eyes widened. Is this Namikaze Kirito? At this time, he was only about 10 years old, and he was already above cage level. This terrifying potential, if it is an enemy, it must be killed as soon as possible. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Namikaze Kirito in the picture, then turned his head and looked at Namikaze Kirito at this time. Countless thoughts appeared in his heart. Does his own death have anything to do with Namikaze Kirito in front of him? After all, if he had experienced such an encounter, he would definitely come back with revenge, plus a renegade Orochimaru. With the ability to suppress Luo Sha, even if I am myself, I am afraid that I am not the opponent of the opponent. The screen flickers again, and soon it's Namikaze Kirito and Orochimaru's experiments in Gensokyo's basement. This ability to control life and death is really terrifying. Can even the dead be resurrected? At this moment, I finally know the purpose of Namikaze Kirito. It turns out that what he wants most is to get his family together again. 5 years have passed. Everyone saw with their own eyes how Minato and his wife were resurrected. Seeing this scene, Namikaze Minato didn't feel joyful at all. How could he, a kind-hearted man, bear to save his own life by using other people's lives? But Kushina is completely different, although she can't bear to do this. But at this time she was very happy, not because she was resurrected. Is it because of Namikaze Kirito? What would happen if the eldest son tried his best and failed to revive his family? Jiji mo Ruomu, the darkness in Namikaze Kirito's eyes, only Kushina can understand. If there is really no way to revive the parents, I am afraid that my eldest son will collapse. As a mother, after seeing her son suffer so much, she has decided that no matter what he does, she will stand by his side. Then I saw Yuhihong and Tsunade, including Terumi Mei, were entangled with their eldest son. Namikaze Minato raised a wry smile, but Kushina was very happy. After all, in this world, of course, the more people who love their sons, the better. Soon, the day came to Konoha. Watching the growth of Uzumaki Naruto, Minato and his wife are very happy. Advertisement. The second child has also grown up and has his own shinobi. Then Konoha's collapse plan was officially implemented. The crimes of Shimura Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen are also fully revealed. Sarutobi Hiruzen here is looking at everything in disbelief. Is this real? The things I did were very hidden, how could they be discovered? And Uchiha Fugaku, the damn B**************** D, betrayed him. Later, saw the same death written by Shimura Danzo. Let him break the defense directly, and in the eyes of everyone's disgust, he yelled that it was impossible. How could he, 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, die so aggrieved? He died immediately, and made all the scandalous things he did public. The news hurt him more than his death. I'm afraid I can't rest after I die. My name and the reputation I've maintained all my life are gone. The recognition of family members made Minato and his wife very gratified. If there is no happy ending, how can they be worthy of Namikaze Kirito's journey? Finally see the threat of Uchiha Obito, and the ability of his own eldest son. It almost made Kushina into the posture of a little girl, raising her fist and shouting cheers. Namikaze, Zhao Hao. Kirito watched this scene with a smile. This is the mother in my own world. The illusion is also gradually coming to an end. With the establishment of the Fantasy Kingdom, the changes in the ninja world over the past 10 years have been fully understood by everyone. Namikaze Kirito's ability to destroy the world even made Sarutobi Hiruzen lose his will to resist. The combination of Cloud Shinobi Village and Rock Shinobi Village can't beat such a person. Can I be his opponent? Not only himself can do it, I'm afraid even with all the strength of Konoha, it's not enough for him to fight alone. In the screen just now, I saw the appearance of the so-called Daijinmu clan. It turns out that traveling through the past is really achievable. Originally, Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't want to admit what he saw, but now he can't admit it. Namikaze Minato and Kushina were very concerned about that scene. Is it called Boruto? Our children are all having children, great. Chapter 144. Do you want to change history? The world of illusion passed quickly, and everyone was brought to reality by Namikaze Kirito. At this time, Jiraiya is no longer hostile, and his whole body is full of decadence. It turns out that his inaction is not a good thing. The teacher he respects has committed countless crimes unknowingly. Even for the sake of the village, those crimes cannot be offset. Is this a politician? Jiraiya looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with complicated eyes. The teacher who once devoted himself to the will of fire is no longer there. Song who stays here only has 10 politicians who hold on to power tightly. In the future played by Namikaze Kirito, at the end, he will still not kill Sarutobi Hiruzen himself. This may be a little comfort in his heart, at least he doesn't have a hand sword teacher. Kirito, my child. Kushina ran over directly and hugged Namikaze Kirito in her arms. Only after seeing him grow up with her own eyes, did she know how much her child has endured. As parents, death turned out to be the most irresponsible thing for them. If she and Minato were still alive at that time, how dare Sarutobi Hiruzen and the others do it? Thinking of this, Kushina looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with hatred again. He was a little terrified by that gaze. Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help coughing a few times. Kushina, those are all things that will happen on 513 in the future, and the old man is also for the sake of the village. After all, this time has not happened yet. If there is a new generation as strong as Kirito in the future, I will certainly not do such a thing. Hearing this, the Minatos didn't say anything yet, but Jiraiya's eyes lit up. Yes, those are all things that will happen in the future. Today's teachers are not so crazy. As long as they are stopped in time, will they be able to have a perfect future? But, is it really good to change history? Won't this lead to the collapse of the world? Jiraiya is caught in a conflict. On the one hand, he wants Sarutobi Hiruzen to change so that the future of the village will be better. But on the other hand, since history is inevitable, who knows what kind of turmoil will be caused if it is really changed through manpower. Advertisement. The young Orochimaru didn't think so much, and he was looking at Namikaze Kirito with hot eyes. In the picture just now, he saw what kind of changes would happen to his future self following Namikaze Kirito. It is not an exaggeration to say that it is completely new. With the perfect Mangekyo Sharingan, CBDF, you can even study the secrets of various ninja worlds. This is his lifelong dream, and Namikaze Kirito is the one who makes it come true for him. Leader, why don't I come and kill this future me, and then follow you? The young Orochimaru's proposal shocked Jiraiya on the side. He knew that Orochimaru would follow Namikaze Kirito in the future, but he didn't expect that Orochimaru in this world wanted to kill him in the future himself. And when Mirai Orochimaru heard this, his expression was not the slightest exception. The two are the same person, but one is the past and the other is the future, so the ideas will be surprisingly consistent. Young Orochimaru wasn't wrong either. He was asking Namikaze Kirito. After seeing Namikaze Kirito's strength in the illusion world, the young Orochimaru didn't think he could wrestle with him. Even if he wants to kill his future self, Namikaze Kirito must keep silent. Namikaze glanced at Orochimaru with interest and spoke softly. That's not bad. If you can really kill your future self, it will prove that he is nothing more than that. Feel free. Future Orochimaru heard Namikaze Kirito's words. His eyes didn't change much. Now, with all kinds of abilities in one body, how could he lose to his former self? Both of them have the same brains. Even if they use conspiracy, it is impossible for them to be his opponents. So in the future, Orochimaru is not only not angry and afraid, but has a little interest. He also wants to see how his former self will do something to him. But the young Orochimaru did not act rashly. He also knew that he was definitely not the opponent of Orochimaru in the future. Still, nothing beats Namikaze Kirito's approval. Sarutobi Hiruzen listened to the conversation of several people. His eyes kept looking around. He wanted to find a chance to escape. Advertisement. The same is true for Jiraiya. After knowing the teacher's death date, it is even more impossible for him to die here. Because that would change history too. Then. Well, the old man still has some official business. You can talk about it first. I guarantee that the future will not follow the history. Please rest assured. Sarutobi Hiruzen finally couldn't bear it any longer, opened his mouth tremblingly, and pretended to leave. Orochimaru's words really made Sarutobi Hiruzen stunned for a while. That's right, if he really changed the direction of being a human being, it would also be the same as changing history, and there is no difference between Orochimaru and others killing him. If you kill the old man at this time and change history, it is unknown whether your son will be born. But Orochimaru obviously won't buy his account. Then what you want to do is not to change history. It is no different from the fact that I killed you, isn't it? The young Orochimaru stood behind Sarutobi Hiruzen, and it was obvious that he would not let him go. That's right, Orochimaru, don't be impulsive. After a while, looking at Minato, he suddenly realized. Minato, would you let your child kill this old man? You know, this old man has not done anything now. On the side, Kushina's fiery red hair was about to stand on end. Orochimaru, what do you mean by this? The murderous aura on your body. You must think clearly. If you kill the old man now, history will be completely changed. I heard that Sarutobi Hiruzen dared to threaten her husband at this time. That's right, since I already know that some decisions are wrong, I will certainly change. Sarutobi Hiruzen put on a righteous look. At this moment, two Orochimaru with different histories also chose to follow Namikaze Kirito. Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't want to die at the moment. He is thinking crazily, where's the way out? You just said you would change yourself? Jiraiya also stood up to block Orochimaru. Whether he didn't want to change history or want to protect Sarutobi Hiruzen, he didn't want Orochimaru to do it. Future Orochimaru walked straight up and blocked his way. Namikaze Minato also looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with a complicated face. He knew what the other party said was right, but he couldn't accept it for a while. How could Sarutobi Hiruzen, who has always respected him, do so many things in the future? Chapter 145 Shinigami Reappearance. UB******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* With a whooping sound, Kushina directly raised his right fist to bully him. Originally, Sarutobi Hiruzen was going to resist, but the Rinnegan in Namikaze Kirito's eyes flashed slightly. Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately lost the ability to resist, and his whole body froze in place, only his eyes could see the fist that was getting closer. Boom! With a muffled sound, Sarutobi Hiruzen flew backwards and hit the wall next to it, cracking the wall. The strength of this punch is not small. Kushina and Tsunade have a good relationship. Although they haven't fully learned the strange power, they can still fight with the strange power. This is also her confidence. She is not a ninja who only knows how to seal. Cough cough. It wasn't until he hit the wall that the sense of confinement on his body disappeared, and Sarutobi Hiruzen stroked his old cheek gently. Needless to say, it must be swollen, obviously a piece higher. Looking at Kushina and Minato with a slightly guilt look, I'm sorry, Kushina, Minato, it's all my fault. If you still can't calm down with this punch, just kill me. Hearing this, Jiraiya quickly said, Minato, Kushina, you can't do this. If you really do this, unpredictable changes will happen in the future. Jiraiya, don't stop them. I think no matter what happens, it will be resolved with Kirito. Saying that, Sarutobi Hiruzen closed his eyes, as if resigned to his fate. At this time, the Minato couple also stood there with complicated eyes. They didn't know what to do. Logically speaking, after seeing those pictures, the two should kill Sarutobi Hiruzen, but what the other party said is correct. Sarutobi Hiruzen has not done those things yet. What's more, with these words, it seems that the other party has reformed himself. Shouldn't he be given a chance? Ah. Facing Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression, Namikaze Kirito sneered. What an old fox, seeing that it's a dead end, are you going to take advantage of the sympathy of my parents and Jiraiya? Hearing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen was startled, but still forced himself to put on a regretful expression. Kirito, you were right to think so. Since you don't believe me, just do it directly. Even if you go to the Pure Land, you will lose will bless you. Oh, then you have to remember what you said. Quote. Seeing Namikaze Kirito walking towards Sarutobi Hiruzen's position, Jiraiya was about to stop him when he found himself unable to move. Advertisement Rinnegan's coercion combined with Conqueror's Haki only needs to use some energy to completely restrain a person. This method was also used by Namikaze Kirito when Kushina beat Sarutobi Hiruzen just now. As Namikaze Kirito got closer and closer to him, Sarutobi Hiruzen was also full of anxiety and fear. Things weren't quite what he expected. Shouldn't it be reasonable to forgive yourself and let history continue? How could this be? Killing him would really change history. Namikaze Kirito really wanted to do this. Is he not afraid of anything? While thinking, Namikaze Kirito had already walked in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Stretched out a hand, and slowly came to Sarutobi Hiruzen's head. You said it all, and you plan to apologize with death. If I don't kill you, I will be too sorry for your enlightenment. Kirito, don't. You can't change history. Namikaze Minato's blocking was not because of Sarutobi Hiruzen, but because he was afraid that his children would be in danger, and no one knew what would happen if history was changed. Namikaze Kirito turned his head and gave his parents a reassuring smile. Don't worry, I'll explain to you later that even if I kill him, it won't change the so-called history. Wait a minute. Seeing that the outstretched hand of Namikaze Kirito already had a trace of strange power, it was obvious that he wanted to kill himself. If you don't speak again, I'm afraid you won't have a chance. Kirito, you said you won't change history. How about this? Let's change Konoha together. Under your witness, I will perfect Konoha. At this time, I am still the respected third Hokage. If you kill me here, Minato can't explain it to the villagers. Sarutobi Hiruzen has seen what happened in the illusion world just now, and of course knows that the only thing that can change Namikaze Kirito's mind is his family, and no one cherishes his family more than him. In order to protect the safety of his family, he even wants to unify the ninja world so that no danger will appear again. Asking for flowers. This kind of love is even paranoid. Even the twisted love of the Uchiha clan is nothing more than that. Using human weakness to keep yourself alive. Sarutobi Hiruzen, no matter what time it is, you are so disgusting. Advertisement ignoring Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, the lifelike hand was still close to the opponent's head. You be ***************. Since you are determined to kill the old man will get rid of your threat for the safety of the village. Sarutobi Hiruzen has completely torn his face, exerting all his strength, and began to seal the mudra. Everyone present saw Sarutobi Hiruzen's knot seal, and they all understood this technique very well. Ghouls sealed. Because the behind-the-scenes manipulator of the ninja world has the same aura as Shinigami. How is this possible? Namikaze Kirito, who now has the perfect 6 paths level, also wants to see if this so-called Shinigami can take away his soul. Sarutobi Hiruzen intends to die with his own child. Looking back at Shinigami, although Shinigami had a ferocious face at this time, his strange eyes were fixed on Namikaze Kirito. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Shinigami in disbelief. Logically speaking, Shinigami should not have their own sanity. Seeing this, both Namikaze Minato and Kushina rushed over, intending to stop him, but a gentle force suddenly appeared, immobilizing the two in place. He also wanted to see what kind of existence this Shinigami looked like. Ahem. Namikaze Kirito, it is your biggest mistake to let me complete this seal. In the world of illusion just now, you also saw that even a tailed beast cannot escape the sanction of Shinigami. With the seal of Sarutobi Hiruzen, a transparent horror Shinigami also descended on the field. You come with me to the belly of Shinigami. As he spoke, he planned to manipulate Shinigami to take away Namikaze Kirito's soul, but he suddenly discovered that Shinigami was out of control. Oh, impossible. Just as a form of seal, what's up with this emotional Shinigami now beg? That emotion is called fear. For some reason, Sarutobi Hiruzen felt a trace of emotion in Shinigami. Chapter 146 Shinigami feels fear. The Minato couple, including Jiraiya and Orochimaru, can also see the phantom of Shinigami. Logically speaking, only the caster and the castee can see it. This time Shinigami is clearly out of the ordinary. But even so, Kushina still looked at the back of his eldest son full of worry, although Namikaze Kirito had already said, "Don't worry," but as a member of the Uzumaki clan, how could it be possible not to know the horror of this sealing technique? That is to use one's own soul as a sacrifice, and let Shinigami harvest the enemy's soul together, once the spell is completed. The souls of both parties will be completely taken away by Shinigami, and they can't even go to the Pure Land, they can only be entangled in Shinigami's stomach. Kushina also taught this ninjutsu to Namikaze Minato, so seeing the appearance of Shinigami at this moment, how could Kushina, as a mother, not worry about Namikaze Kirito? On the other hand, Namikaze Kirito looked at Shinigami with 200 interest. In fact, this ninjutsu has been sealed with ghouls before. At that time, in order to revive Namikaze Minato who sealed 9 tails, Orochimaru once deceived Shinigami. Bring back the soul of Namikaze Minato. The only difference is that the Shinigami that appeared that time was obviously a simple sealing technique, except for the caster of Orochimaru. Shinigami didn't pay attention to Namikaze Kirito at all. This time it was different, those dark eyes were clearly looking at Namikaze Kirito. Even felt the fear in it. It seems that you are sane, Shinigami. While talking, Namikaze Kirito walked forward, not worried that Shinigami would sneak up on him. Stretching his hand into the void, Namikaze Kirito actually made Shinigami take a step back. That's right, he took a step back, and everyone present saw that Sarutobi Hiruzen's jaw was about to drop. This is Shinigami. Why is Namikaze Kirito frightened when he sees the Uzumaki clan's bottom sealing technique? Could this person really reach the realm of a god? Even Death Shendu can't take his soul away. How could such an incredible thing happen? Namikaze Kirito turned into a smile instead. He finally knew what the Shinigami were afraid of. Although Rinnegan is powerful, it doesn't make Shinigami so afraid. What the other party really fears is his evolved Dark Fruit ability. This Dark Fruit that has been strengthened by the system, sometimes, even Namikaze Kirito doesn't know where its upper limit is. Advertisement: after reaching the 6 paths level of combat power, most of the templates have been unlocked. The ability of the Dark Fruit became more and more strange. Just appearing in the field of vision will make the onlookers feel weird and unknown. It can be said that the Dark ability has deviated far from the Dark Fruit in the pirate world. But this is also a good change. After all, we will face the Daijinmu clan in the later stage, and with the setting of other planets in the Hokage world, who knows if there will be a stronger race. If the upper limit of the ability is very low, I am afraid it will be useless. Seeing Shinigami take a step back, Namikaze Kirito stepped forward again, and the dark fog on his body slowly appeared. Swish! Kirito, be careful! The sword flashed across suddenly, and Namikaze Kirito pressed too hard, directly making Shinigami plan to give it a go, and directly slashed over with the sword. Facing this sudden attack, Namikaze Kirito was not surprised at all. It wouldn't be Shinigami if it was standing there waiting for him to test it. But, how can this kind of attack alone be able to deal with me? Namikaze Kirito didn't even move, a golden shield naturally appeared on his body. This is also a secret technique possessed by Daijin Mokbashiki. After absorbing all his abilities with the Dark Fruit, of course, he also has all his abilities. Clang! The huge transparent knife stood on top of the golden cover, making a loud noise, and even a little bit of fire appeared. A wave of air quickly rushed to the surroundings, except for the parents who were protected by Namikaze Kirito, the rest of the people couldn't help but tremble. Even the walls of the house were cracked. This is just the aftermath of the airwave, which shows how much power Shinigami used, but even so, the golden shield still hasn't changed in the slightest. Not even fluctuations. Namikaze Kirito's hand covered in black mist got closer and closer to Shinigami, and Shinigami's face became more and more flustered. Finally, just as the opponent's hand was about to touch him, Shinigami turned into a puff of green smoke and disappeared from everyone's eyes. Not even Sarutobi Hiruzen's soul was taken away. Advertisement. With the disappearance of Shinigami, the coercion that shrouded everyone has disappeared, and everyone in the room was relieved. Sarutobi Hiruzen was sitting on the ground at this moment, staring blankly at Namikaze Kirito. Unexpectedly, even if you want to sacrifice your life and soul, you can't do it with the other party. How big is the gap between the two? With such doubts, Sarutobi Hiruzen spit out 2 words from his mouth. Monster. That's right, Namikaze Kirito is so powerful that it is different from ordinary people, and it really deserves these 2 words. Looking at the history of the ninja world, even Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama are not as powerful as Namikaze Kirito beyond common sense. It is a heterogeneous, but also a monster. Sarutobi Hiruzen's heart is already hopeless. The object of Shendu's fear, will it still work no matter how hard he struggles? Future Orochimaru really enjoys this expression of his teacher. The Minato couple looked at their eldest son in shock. Although they knew that he was very strong after going through the illusion world, they did not expect to be so strong. Boss, what should this old guy do? It just so happens that Jiraiya is also here. Why don't we stage the scene of the disciple killing the teacher again? Future Orochimaru said in a wicked way. Hearing this, Jiraiya stared angrily at the future Orochimaru. He didn't know why his companion was so mad. Just like the real main world, even now, Jiraiya's character still won't allow him to do anything to Sarutobi Hiruzen. Of course Namikaze Kirito knew, so he didn't intend to force Jiraiya, but he walked up to Sarutobi Hiruzen himself. The condescending 5.2 looked at each other. Seeing Namikaze Kirito approaching, Sarutobi Hiruzen put his head together. What did he see? What kind of eyes are those, without the slightest emotion, eyes that seem to despise all living beings? Shouldn't it be an honor to die at the hands of such a person? Sarutobi Hiruzen laughed at himself, and then said, Namikaze Kirito, kill me. I hope you can treat Konoha well. After all, this is the village your parents love. At this juncture of life and death, Sarutobi Hiruzen seems to see through everything. The same is true for Jiraiya, as if she saw the bright-minded teacher when she was young. Like a bubble bursting, Sarutobi Hiruzen's figure disappeared. Jiraiya opened his mouth, as if he wanted to say something, but swallowed it back. Chapter 147. Planning to leave Namikaze Minato's side slightly, history was still changed by his own children. He is not afraid of the world being destroyed, but he is worried that changing history will affect his children. Thinking of this, Namikaze Minato looked at the grown child with complicated eyes. But Kushina is just the opposite. She has blindly believed her child's words. In her cognition, Nine Tails is the most powerful existence, and such a powerful Nine Tails, in front of Namikaze Kirito, is like a cat, let it do whatever it wants. So, since Namikaze Kirito said that history will not be changed, it certainly will not change history. At this time, Kushina is full of guilt and love for her own children. Jiraiya looked at Namikaze Kirito, and asked seriously, Kirito, teacher. No, third Hokage is dead, what are you going to do next? Unify the ninja world in advance. Shall we build a fantasy kingdom? Namikaze Kirito glanced at Jiraiya unexpectedly. He didn't expect the other party to accept the reality so quickly. Since there is no Sarutobi Hiruzen in this world, I will speed up its process, but whether the fantasy kingdom is created or not is not up to me, but to you. Hearing Namikaze Kirito's words, Jiraiya looked puzzled. It's about us. What do you mean? I don't plan to stay in this time and space for a long time. I will leave soon after I clear the leaves, but... Saying that, Namikaze Kirito looked at his parents, and Jiraiya also looked at Minato and his wife. He also knows that what Namikaze Kirito has always wanted is to protect his family. And in this world, the only bond to him at present is the two people in front of him. After taking a deep breath, Namikaze Kirito continued, I will leave enough behind for this world, so that I won't leave too many regrets. Kirito. Kushina looked at her child with tears in her eyes, and she also knew what Namikaze Kirito's regret was. It was not her parents' death. The reunion with his family is his expectation for the rest of his life. Although it was finally completed, the process inevitably made people sad. Advertisement now. Kushina hated her future self even more. Why did she give the names of her husband and wife for the sake of the village? If they didn't die, would Namikaze Kirito and Uzumaki Naruto still experience such a tragedy? Of course not. It's all their responsibility as parents. It's also my fault that they didn't see the face of these politicians clearly at the time, otherwise it would be impossible to make such a decision. Namikaze Minato is thinking about the future, although history has been changed, but only a part of it has changed, until the masked man, Uchiha Obito, reappears. He must do his best to stop the other party's conspiracy. Of course, he will definitely protect his family and his name. Never let the tragedy happen again. Seeing the expressions of his parents, Namikaze Kirito's eyes were full of relief. He knew that his parents would not sacrifice their lives for anyone, even though this is a parallel world. But it still can't change the family affection that blood is thicker than water. Then he looked at the young Orochimaru and Jiraiya. Next, I will create a Sarutobi Hiruzen, and you will cooperate with him to wear the Hokage position to my father. Before I leave, I will leave enough behind for you, so that even if you encounter a big crisis, you can solve it by yourself. I'm not sure when I was born in this world, so in order to face future risks, I will give you the calendar area. This sentence was simply to comfort his parents. There is only one traveler. Namikaze Kirito is not sure whether he exists in this parallel world. So he's left with enough power to not give everything to Uzumaki Naruto. Parents did not die in battle. Namikaze Kirito does not know what kind of growth trajectory his younger brother, Uzumaki Naruto, the son of destiny, will have. What if he can't solve the big event in the future? Whether it's the Akatsuki invasion or the Uchiha Madara, or the great Jien Mukagaya. Although Namikaze Kirito has the advantage of being familiar with the plot, his observation haki does not cover the whole world, and this world is not as convenient as Gensokyo for him to inquire about information. Even if he wanted to deal with the threat first, he couldn't. What's more, people in this world also need to grow up. He has solved all the crises. What will happen to the Otsutsuki clan in the parallel world? After leaving this time, it is not certain whether I can come back in the future. After all, it was teleported by using the power of the dragon veins. Only the devil knows whether the dragon veins can still be used after returning this time. Next, everyone began to discuss the future of Konoha. Advertisement first of all, Rude and Danzo must be destroyed, otherwise keeping this guy will only cause trouble in the future. Sarutobi Hiruzen is already dead, Jiraiya of course won't say anything more. Next is the issue of 4th generation succession and Konoha's defense. Jiraiya and Orochimaru must stay in Konoha, and they can no longer wander around like before. Of course, Tsunade must be found as soon as possible. After Kushina made breakfast, she watched her child eat it with her own eyes, showing a satisfied expression. In the future, even a woman like Tsunade-sama will become my daughter-in-law. Thinking of this, Kushina stretched out his hand and squeezed Namikaze Kirito's face. In front of his parents, he was still a child. This kind of picture has never been seen in that world. It will not let him turn into this cold face, which is not cute at all. Uzumaki Naruto has Uzumaki Boruto as a child, the eldest son who has several women 350, there must be more in this regard. It's just that when Tsunade was mentioned, Kushina gave his son a strange look. When Konoha appears in front of Tsunade with a new look, she will probably be very happy. She swore that when Kirito was born, she would love this child well. Namikaze Kirito seemed to feel Mirai Orochimaru's gaze, and Mikaze Kirito's eyes flashed, and Mirai Orochimaru felt a sudden coercion descending on him. It seems that the Uzumaki family is about to flourish again in their family. This scene not only made Namikaze Kirito stop thinking, but even Orochimaru was stunned. The bones creaked. How can I not see enough? Soon, the night passed, and everyone chatted until the early morning. For the ninja, it was okay to not sleep day and night. In the future, Namikaze Kirito will be the lord of the kingdom of Phantom. On weekdays, he is simply an existence that can only be looked up to. However, he was not afraid. Instead, he watched the interaction between the mother and child with great interest. Chapter 148 Little Lolita Yuhihong. Soon, the news that third Hokage abdicated and passed the Hokage position to Namikaze Minato spread to every corner of the village. In fact, all the major families know it well. After all, Sarutobi Hiruzen did have this meaning before. But I didn't expect it to be so fast. After all, Sarutobi Hiruzen was still strong in their eyes at this time. It was obviously wrong to pass the position directly. After passing on the fourth Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly brought his old buddy, Shimura Danzo, and began to tell everyone the dirty things about the two of them in these years. This stunned the eyes of a kind of villagers. The matter of passing the position is understandable, but there are some problems in pleading guilty. The big clan in the Konoha smelled a strange aura. It's not that no one knows about the nasty things Sarutobi Hiruzen did before, it's just that no one will say anything because he is Hokage. And now he comes out and blows himself up. That's absolutely impossible. He values reputation more than anyone else, otherwise Shimura Danzo wouldn't exist. But such a person who valued his reputation actually revealed his crimes, and even said that Mu Yi Bai's death was due to his conspiracy. Mu Yi Bai had a very high reputation in the village before. If that incident hadn't happened, everyone thought that he would become the fourth Hokage. After all, there are white sleeves on the sleeves that represent the Hokage imperial robe. No one else can wear it except him. Namikaze Minato belongs to the younger generation and is a rising star. Sarutobi Hiruzen was able to plead guilty so easily and tell countless secrets. There must be a minister behind him. Sure enough, soon, the roots were liquidated because they were controlled by Shimura Danzo with special ninjutsu, and not only that, even the spirits were completely brainwashed. In this case, it is impossible to change their thinking. So Orochimaru led people to directly kill all the ninjas at the root, and everyone in Konoha's clan was in danger for a while. This situation continued until Namikaze Minato had a talk with them. In such a conversation, they declared that they agreed with Namikaze Minato, and even expressed their unconditional cooperation and deployment. Even the highlight of Sarutobi Hiruzen, there is no such moment, and many of Konoha's banners just turn a blind eye to complete the orders given. Advertisement as if he didn't take this third Hokage into his eyes at all. Only Namikaze Minato, whom Kushina has called a little son, can exchange their support with sincerity. In the original book, when fourth Hokage Namikaze Minato was in power, there was no such darkness in the village. These days Namikaze Minato, Orochimaru and Jiraiya are very busy, but Namikaze Kirito is fine. Even in that world, he was forced to stay at home by Kushina and kept taking care of him. It seems that he wants to make up for all the debts. In fact, Namikaze Kirito doesn't feel that his parents owe him anything. After all, giving him life is already the greatest gift. On the streets of Konoha, Namikaze Kirito sneaked out while Kushina was not looking. Since it has been confirmed that the history will not be changed, he still has to take a good look around. He has not seen this era with his own eyes. It is almost the same as Konoha in the future. After all, Konoha has the best land in the ninja world, and prosperity is certain. Walking casually, people on the street looked at him frequently. The red hair and handsome face were too attractive. Please wait a moment. Just when Namikaze Kirito was thinking about what he wanted to eat, a childish voice suddenly came out behind him. Turning around and looking, only to find that it was Yuhihong. Yuhihong, who is less than 10 years old, looks exceptionally cute. At such a young age, she already has the gentle and kind appearance of the future. Even when she speaks, she is very polite. Are you calling me? Namikaze Kirito stepped forward, bent slightly, and looked at his future woman. For some reason, Yuhihong looked at the person in front of her, and always had a strange feeling in her heart, which she couldn't tell what was going on. Anyway, I feel that the person in front of me must have something to do with me. Well, don't we really know each other? I always feel like I've seen you somewhere. Goo. Just when Namikaze Kirito was about to say something, his stomach suddenly rang. Yuhihong looked at the other party in astonishment, but she was understanding and said immediately, If you don't mind, come to my house, I will treat you to dinner, and then you tell me the truth. Advertisement. Namikaze Kirito found it very interesting to see the stubborn lowly Yuhihong. The two met for the first time in their own home. At that time, Yu Hong should be around 11 or 12 years old. That is to say, in a year or two, she might be born. Will have its own existence. At that time, my heart was full of the Nine Tails chaos, so I didn't have time to get to know others. Therefore, even if I met this female character I liked very much in the previous life, there was no intersection, and I even treated her coldly all the time. Completely ignored Yu Hong's gentleness. She felt that she might be obsessed with ghosts, and she didn't even know Namikaze Kirito, and invited him to her home. Now that I come back to my senses, I just feel shy for a while. Just because there is always a voice inside telling her. If you want to eat, just come with me, if you don't come, forget it. How can you invite others home casually, you are the first. The little girls in the world of Hokage are very precocious. With Namikaze Kirito's hearing ability, how could he not hear the words that Kurenai Yuhi murmured in a low voice? It is also because of this that he, the son of third Hokage, has often been looked down upon by people around him. When the warm hand pinched her cheek lightly, she should have avoided it, but she did not move by mistake, letting the other party's hand rest on her face. You must understand what this person means to you. The person in front of her is very important to her, so she wants to break the casserole and ask the end. Namikaze Kirito stretched out his hand, gently squeezed that cute and smooth little face, and said softly, "Don't invite a strange man to your house, only I can." Only Sarutobi Asuma, who was left in the shadow, looked at the other person's figure with hatred in his eyes. In the past few days, he has fallen into an underestimation of his life. His father, who has always been respected by others, has made so many mistakes, and he doesn't know how to punish him in the village. Then go forward first. Shi Hone looked at the man in front of her without speaking, but just stared at herself. A blush appeared on her immature face. Yu Hong has been completely confused by the other party's actions, wow. Afterwards, he left Konoha's street together with that little figure. Chapter 149. Wonderful experience. Originally, he wanted to find his goddess and seek some comfort, but when he arrived here, he heard the goddess talking to the man who looked very annoying. And actually invited the other party to her home. Damn it. Damn it. The shadow of Namikaze Kirito was deeply buried in the young Sarutobi Asuma. Hatred also sprouted in his heart. Soon, Namikaze Kirito and Yu Hong came to Yu Hong's home. Looking at the familiar gate, Namikaze Kirito couldn't help sighing. In the main world, he came a lot. And coming here again in this parallel world, no matter how you think about it, it's a little strange. Without waiting for Namikaze Kirito to think about it, Kurenai Yuhi had already opened the door and walked in. Looking back, she saw that Namikaze Kirito was still standing there. He whispered, "Come in, my father is on a mission, and he won't be back for several days." Hearing this, Namikaze Kirito couldn't help but laugh. There is nothing wrong with what Yu Hong said, but why does she feel so strange? These words seemed like the two were going to do something behind the back of each other's parents, but they looked at the immature Yu Hong and quickly shook their heads. This is not fun to think about. In the main world, she is her own woman, but in this parallel world, the two of 153 have just met. Then he walked straight into Shi Hong's house. Yu Hong brought Namikaze Kirito to the living room and asked him to wait for a while. After asking about Namikaze Kirito's appetite, she went to the kitchen and started to get busy. Her father is a well-known strong man in the village, so it is common to perform missions. Shi Hong has been able to take care of herself since she was a child. As for the food, don't worry at all. Her father is so strong and has many tasks to perform. She is a little rich woman. And on weekdays, the kind uncle aunt will also bring her meals. After all, her father is very respected. Namikaze Kirito sat on the chair, looking at the familiar surroundings. She probably understood in her heart that when Yuhi Zhenheng, that is, after Yu Hong's father died, she hadn't touched a single bit of the family. It has always remained the same, although when dealing with outsiders, Kurenai Yuhi is the gentle and reliable Konoha Jonin. But when I got home, how could I not miss my father? Before talking to Yu Hong about resurrecting Yuhi Zhenheng, Yu Hong refused, because she felt that it was not good to play with the soul of the dead, and if her father found out, she might not be able to bear it. Advertisement. Of course Namikaze Kirito will respect her opinion. Now with Rinnegan, it is too easy to revive a person. As long as Yu Hong figured it out one day, then of course he wouldn't mind giving his woman a surprise. Soon, delicious meals were served. Because Namikaze Kirito said that he eats a lot, Kurenai Yuhi cooks a lot. The two sat on the dining table. Namikaze Kirito began to feast, and Yu Hong ate in small bites, looking very ladylike. In the main world, Namikaze Kirito loves the food cooked by Kuroko Yuhi, and of course it is the same in this world. At such a young age, she has such a great skill. She deserves to be my virtuous wife in the future. Namikaze Kirito thought with a sigh. Kurenai Yuhi noticed Namikaze Kirito's gaze, and that fiery gaze seemed to melt her small body. He hurriedly avoided his eyes, and ate the food in his hand wholeheartedly. A taciturn meal was soon over, and Namikaze Kirito sat on a chair contentedly drinking tea. After finishing packing the dishes, Yu Hong sat next to him. The cute little face struggled and asked, "Now we can tell, who are you? Why do I have a familiar feeling towards you? I am your future man. VR." Hearing this sentence, Yu Hong's eyes widened because of shock, and she looked very cute. She felt that the person in front of her was teasing her, because the corners of the other person's mouth were obviously raised, which was full of teasing. CBCH, can you be serious? I'm seriously asking you. Hearing the embarrassment and anger in Yu Hong's tone, Namikaze Kirito directly stretched out his hand, and hugged Yu Hong's small body in his arms amidst the other party's scream. Why do you think I'm not serious? Yu Hong didn't dare to move at all at this time, and she didn't know if it was because of shyness or what. Hearing Namikaze Kirito's words, he raised his small head and looked at him. In the eyes as deep as a deep pool, Shi Hong felt the seriousness of the other party. Is what he said true? That's why I have that familiar feeling. Are you from the future? Advertisement? Yeah, don't you believe me? Namikaze Kirito put his hands on Kuroyuki's fluffy hair, his eyes full of love. I believe, then can you let me go first? The more he spoke, the lower his voice became, and in the end it was like a mosquito, completely inaudible. Seeing the cute appearance of the other party, Namikaze Kirito suddenly felt a little wicked. I saw that he lifted the other party's soft chin and let the other party hug him. A gentle and magnetic voice sounded slowly. Why do you want me to let go? Can't I hug my future wife? Wife? Shi Hong wiped her tears, her voice choked with sobs. Kurenai Yuhi stuttered a little, and she found that she couldn't keep calm in front of Namikaze Kirito. Not knowing what to think of, Yu Hong's big eyes were suddenly filled with mist. It tastes like Yu Hong who grew up in the main world. Am I going too far? Please don't cry. Looking at Namikaze Kirito's face getting closer and closer, subconsciously closed his eyes. Precocious, my little wife, what are you looking forward to? Yu Hong sensed the opponent's movement, stared blankly on the spot, and responded stiffly. I'm fine. But after waiting for a while, the other party didn't make any movement, quietly opened his eyes, and saw Namikaze Kirito looking at her with a smile. But he doesn't know how to coax people at all, the only thing he can do is pinch that cute chin, and then stick it on. At this time, Namikaze Kirito seemed to be intoxicated. These two words are too far away for the current Yu Hong, her face is as red as if she is about to bleed, and her head seems to be smoking. Even being led by the nose completely by the other party. Seeing her aggrieved appearance, Namikaze Kirito suddenly panicked. This appearance of pear blossoms with rain is particularly distressing, and of course Namikaze Kirito can't bear it. Chapter 150. The shy little Lolita. This kiss lasted for a long time, and finally when Yu Hong was out of breath, the two separated. At this moment, Shi Hong's big bright eyes had become a little blurred. She likes this feeling very much, but feels shy about it. What Namikaze Kirito said, that she will become the other party's future wife, she really believed in this sentence in her heart, otherwise it would not have happened this scene in front of her. But even if he believed what the other party said, the sudden occurrence of the incident caught Yu Hong by surprise. Namikaze Kirito smiled. The young Yu Hong in front of her became shy, and she was exactly the same as the future. For a while, I really couldn't tell if this was the past or the future. Shi Hong finally came back to her senses, seeing the man in front of her looking at her with a smile on her face, the thin-skinned she ran back to the bedroom with a scream. At this time, Namikaze Kirito also stood up and walked out. The meal is over, and the heart is satisfied. It is time to go back and end the affairs of this era. Hurry up and return to the main world where he is, and get rid of the mastermind behind the ninja world. In Minato's home, at this time, several of Konoha's big names are here. Uchiha Fugaku, Hyuga Heishi, the patriarch of Ino Shikacho, and Orochimaru, Jiraiya and others. As Namikaze Kirito pushed the door open, all eyes were on him. These days, the young Orochimaru has told these people about the identity of Namikaze Kirito, including what happened. There is no need to keep it secret at all, since history has changed. What's the point of keeping it a secret? And this is the only way to master Muto faster. This is Namikaze Kirito, the benefactor who will liberate our Uchiha clan in the future. Uchiha Fugaku stared closely at Namikaze Kirito. He learned from future Orochimaru the trajectory of future Uchiha's development. Unexpectedly, his Uchiha clan not only did not go to extinction. Instead, he became an upstart in the fantasy country, and even became one of the 12 elders in Konoha village. Advertisement. According to future Orochimaru, that is the center of power, and the entire ninja world has been unified. One can imagine how much power these 12 elders have. He was full of gratitude to Namikaze Kirito at this time, and already curious. It is impossible to imagine that the man in front of him will dominate the ninja world in the future, and he has achieved an unprecedented feat. This is something that even his own ancestor, Uchiha Madara known as Ninja Shura, failed to do. Not to mention that in this world, the young Orochimaru destroyed the Shimura Danzo and the roots against the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Fugaku has made up his mind, no matter what others are like, but he will follow Namikaze Minato, wait until after Namikaze Kirito is born, and then establish a good relationship with him. Kirito, you are here. Namikaze Minato looked at Namikaze Kirito approaching, his eyes were full of tenderness. This is his proud child. Little Kirito, you sneaked away again. Mommy's cooking is terrible. Kushina doesn't care who is high level or not, she only has her own children in her eyes now. Namikaze Minato can only smile wryly in the face of this situation. He is famous for respecting his wife. How could it be possible to interrupt the other party with words? I can only give my son a sympathetic look. Mother, I want to go out for a walk too. Facing Kushina, Namikaze Kirito doesn't have the Hokage who dominates the ninja world at all, and has just the feeling of a normal child facing his mother. HMPH. I really don't know how my child has such a cold personality. When you are born, I will definitely educate you well. Kushina raised her fist, her face full of anticipation. Namikaze Kirito observed a few seconds of silence for his future self. The warm time passed quickly, and Namikaze Kirito walked to the table and sat down. Future Orochimaru stood behind him. The veins on Hyuga Hiashi's face suddenly popped up, and he obviously used his eyes. He wanted to see how much chakra Namikaze Kirito had in his body. Although chakra is not the criterion for judging combat power, it is equally important. But just looking at it like this, Hyuga Hiashi directly covered his eyes, and soon, 2 bloodstains flowed out. I'm sorry, the power in me has long been beyond my eyes. It's not my wish to hurt you. Namikaze Kirito's gentle opening. Advertisement. No, I don't blame you, I'm too curious, sorry. Hyuga Hiashi covered his eyes and hurriedly made a sound. It was impolite to observe others with blank eyes, but he just couldn't help his inner curiosity. Asking for flowers. It can be said that curiosity hurt him. Today's Namikaze Kirito has successfully advanced to 6 paths, coupled with the unlocking of the template. There seems to be a wonderful change in the body when Orochimaru was doing experiments before. Trying to use his perfect Sharingan to copy Namikaze Kirito's jutsu is impossible. In his words, the leader of his own family has completely evolved to another dimension and is no longer an ordinary life form. Neither Baian nor Sharingan can interfere with Namikaze Kirito at all. Only those who have also reached the 6 paths level or have Rinnegan or Tenseigan can initially have the qualifications to fight Namikaze Kirito. It's just a qualification. Even if Namikaze Kirito stands still, Uzumaki Nagato, who has Rinnegan, can't break his defense. Seeing that everyone was looking at him, Namikaze Kirito stopped talking nonsense and slowly expressed his plan. First of all, the young Orochimaru can't go with him. He wants to stay in this world and protect the Namikaze Minato family. The reward is a pair of perfect Mangekyo Sharingan. The same goes for Uchiha Fugaku. Although he activates the Mangekyo Sharingan, his eyes gradually become blind with use. Only Namikaze Kirito can solve his problem. After all, he doesn't have a younger brother or big brother to change his glasses. All Konoha executives who are loyal to Namikaze Minato will be rewarded more or less. Konoha must retain more combat power, otherwise, just relying on these people before, not to mention the future Akatsuki organization, Uchiha Madara and others, even Nine Tails will not be able to deal with it. On his mother's side, Namikaze Kirito has already placed a restriction on Nine Tails. As long as it is not obedient, it will directly make its life worse than death. Namikaze Minato has also been fully strengthened in physique, and now he is not weaker than Sage Body of the Uzumaki family. It also gave him the ability of all attributes. Sharingan is not needed, as Namikaze Minato is 4th Hokage. It would be funny if he wears a pair of Sharingan. He is a genius in itself, possessing the Flying Thunder God technique, plus the ability of all attributes in the Sage Body of the Uzumaki family. Even if there is no Tailed Beast mode, it will reach the center of the circle of peak powerhouses. Chapter 151. Back to the main world. The restriction added to Nine Tails is that the chain is also a safety belt. As long as Uchiha Obito wants to lift the Jinchuriki seal, he will receive the big gift left by Namikaze Kirito at that moment. So the Nine Tails Rebellion should not appear in this world. The only thing to worry about is the future Akatsuki organization and Uchiha Madara's henchmen, and that old Yinbi Black Zetsu. To protect the parents in this world, Namikaze Kirito must leave enough combat power for Konoha. Don't know when the next time will come back, so at least let them have the power to protect themselves. With the future Orochimaru is here, in fact, it only needs Namikaze Kirito to cooperate with the ability of the Dark Fruit to strengthen the strength of everyone. Let the future Orochimaru handle the rest. The meeting this time was also a meeting before parting. That's why I called all the high-level officials from 430 Yi over. Namikaze Kirito. According to the information you said, it seems that terrible events will happen in the ninja world in the future, but you changed history. What if you are not born in this world? And even if you the birth did not follow the original trajectory, and I am afraid that those incidents cannot be resolved. Nara Shirju of the Nara family, as the man with the highest IQ, raised his own question. Hearing Nara Shirju say that Namikaze Kirito may not be born, the bodies of Minato and his wife felt a little bit. This is what they are most worried about. No one knows what will happen when history has changed, but the children who have been determined to grow up will not come to this world, which is unacceptable to them. Kushina even asked what year and when Namikaze Kirito was born with shame. This is all for his smooth birth. Good question. In order to solve those incidents, I will leave enough behind for Konoha. As for me, don't worry too much. Namikaze Kirito casually played with the black mist on the finger, with a deep meaning in his tone. If I wouldn't be born, my younger brother will solve the matter, even if he can't solve it, and the history I left for Konoha area. As for what you asked just now, it doesn't matter if I don't grow up according to the original trajectory. As long as I come into this world, then everything can be left to me, no matter how I grow up. Namikaze Kirito's tone was full of confidence. Nara Shikaju stared at him closely, and after a while, he breathed a sigh of relief. I don't know if it's because I believed what Namikaze Kirito said, or because I was infected by the other party's emotions. In the days to come, he will. Pointing to the future Orochimaru standing behind him. Advertisement, take you to strengthen, don't worry, these enhancements are normal enhancements, will not cause any burden on your body, and will even completely transform you. When things are done, it's time to leave. Hearing that Namikaze Kirito was going to leave, the Minatos had strong reluctance in their eyes, while Jiraiya on the side breathed a sigh of relief. He feels that as long as Namikaze Kirito, the future person, exists in this time, there will always be changes in history. Some changes are good, but not all are good. Once there is an uncontrollable historical change, it will be troublesome. So hearing that Namikaze Kirito was going to leave soon, how could he not relax? No matter how reluctant Kushina is, she still knows that her child must leave. After all, he really does not belong to this time. If it is left like this, if Namikaze Kirito speaks again, two Namikaze Kirito will appear in one world. Even if Minato and his wife don't care, who can guarantee what will happen in the future? And at another time, the two of us are still waiting. I guess they will be worried after Namikaze Kirito has been away for so many days. Thinking of this, the reluctance in Kushina's eyes gradually disappeared, and some only left her deep love for Namikaze Kirito. The meeting of the people came to an end soon. The reason why Namikaze Kirito will show up and tell everything is to let them better assist their father. The second is the need for deterrence. When a person suddenly gains great power, it is inevitable that some strange thoughts will appear in his heart. So he wants to appear here and tell everyone that I, Namikaze Kirito, came from the future, and no matter what happens in the future, I know it all. If you don't cooperate, or if you have any thoughts in the future, I will show up again. Of course, Namikaze Kirito may be superfluous. Kushina cooperates with 9 tails and has Super Cage level combat power. Not to mention Namikaze Minato, his shortcomings are all solved. I'm afraid there will be an incredible golden flash in the ninja world in the future. Future Orochimaru left the house with everyone, leaving time for the Minato family. Advertisement. Although Kushina felt bad about Namikaze Kirito's departure, she would not say anything more at this time. Seeing that Namikaze Kirito was still sitting at the dining table, he hurried to prepare the meal. Even if you want to leave, you have to leave with a full stomach. This is the mother's responsibility. And young Orochimaru gladly accepted. At this time, he and the future Orochimaru are standing at the entrance of Konoha's village. 1 month passed quickly. During this time, Orochimaru in the future was very busy. Fortunately, he had the help of young Orochimaru. Today's Konoha is thriving, and Namikaze Kirito is completely relieved. Kirito, in that world, you have to be happy. Also, come back and have a look when you have time. When the time comes, I will show you how cute you were when you were a child. And he himself didn't even go out of the house this month, except to visit his 4.8 evening read occasionally. Kushina hugged Namikaze Kirito in her arms and told her softly, while Namikaze Minato stood aside lovingly watching the parting of mother and child. Only Minato and his wife came to see them off, and Namikaze Kirito didn't let them come, and there was no need for them. Faced with such a request, Namikaze Kirito also complied. As long as he does something to hurt Namikaze Minato, he will disappear from this world immediately. Just put forward a condition: in the future, Namikaze Kirito must come back to take a look, if Namikaze Kirito will not be born in this world. For this prohibition, there is no concealment from him. The two are originally one person, with the same thinking and IQ. On the way to strengthen everyone, the young Orochimaru has received a lot. Then in the future, after the ninja world is pacified, Namikaze Kirito will take him to that world. The day of parting has come. Kushina has seen the way the two get along a long time ago, and her eyes are full of relief. It seems that after the birth of her eldest son, she will have a relationship foundation. But he has no possibility of betraying Konoha at all, because Namikaze Kirito also left a ban on him. Chapter 152. Goodbye. 2 women. After the family of 3 said goodbye, a shady scene appeared, and Namikaze Kirito and Orochimaru walked in. Seeing her son's figure gradually disappear, Kushina couldn't bear it anymore, and wept silently in Namikaze Minato's arms. And Namikaze Minato is a child who looks at the sky in the distance and secretly blesses in his heart. After Namikaze Kirito and Orochimaru appeared in Lulan, they quickly found the Dragon Bane. With the surging power of the Dragon Bane, a white light flashed, and everything around them changed. After getting used to the light, I saw the Gensokyo ninja standing on the sidelines. Seeing the appearance of the 2 adults, the ninja saluted. Master, Lord Orochimaru. Da. Namikaze Kirito nodded and asked, how far have we walked this time? My lord, you have been away for about half a month this time. Hearing Gensokyo ninja's respectful reply, Namikaze Kirito thought secretly in his heart. I went to that parallel world and stayed for a total of more than a month, but only half a month passed in 2%. That is to say, the time of the 2 worlds is calculated according to the ratio of 1 to 2 or even more. Looking up at the dragon's veins, the turbulent power has not weakened much at this time. In other words, if you want to travel to that parallel world again, you only need to activate the dragon veins. Thinking of this, Namikaze Kirito turned to look at Orochimaru. Seal this place and send people to guard it. Without my order, no one is allowed to enter here. Orochimaru bowed to show that he understood. Wangshen Hirazaka. A dark scene appeared in front of Namikaze Kirito again, and Orochimaru ignored him, and he walked in directly. At this time, the national landlords of the trap leaves. The 2 women were staring at each other with big eyes and small eyes. Advertisement. I said, Elder Terumi Mei, you always come to my house, it seems a little inappropriate? Tsunade frowned, looking at Terumi Mei who was eating fruit. His tone was full of disgust. Hearing what Tsunade said, ordinary people might leave directly, but Terumi Mei will not run away so easily. After she swallowed the fruit in her mouth, she stared at Tsunade closely with a pair of charming eyes, and her red lips parted slightly. Elder Tsunade, although this is your home, it is also Kirito's home, and I am his wife. What's the problem here? Shut up, you vixen, you deserve to be named Kirito? HMPH, We're just in the same boat. That day you were no weaker than me. I didn't expect Elder Tsunade, who has always been upright, to have such a charming appearance. To be honest, I, a woman, was moved. It seems that you want to fight again. Oh, what's the matter? Elder Tsunade is planning to use force because he said that he can't do it? But it's just right, we haven't decided the winner last time. It just so happens that no one stopped us today. Fight. Tsunade stood up immediately after hearing the words, exuding a powerful momentum all over his body. And Terumi Mei was not to be outdone, she also stood up straight, with her hand on her mouth, as if she was going to make a move at any time. The atmosphere in the room gradually turned cold. Just when the two were about to make a move, a shady scene suddenly appeared in the middle. I saw Namikaze Kirito, whom I missed day and night, come out of it. Kirito. Terumi Mei didn't give Tsunade a chance to speak at all, stepped forward quickly, swooped into Namikaze Kirito's arms. This B******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** and stared at Terumi Mei closely. You too, I've already told you not to fight, no matter who you hurt, I can't bear it, so you're still obedient. Namikaze Kirito held Terumi Mei in one hand, and walked straight to Tsunade's side, but Tsunade was still angry at this time. Seeing Namikaze Kirito walking over, his beautiful eyes were filled with joy, and then he turned his head directly, making a fuss. Regarding Tsunade's character, Namikaze Kirito also knew very well. The other hand directly encircled Tsunade in his arms, and the huge force did not give her a chance to refute at all. The two were in Namikaze Kirito's arms at the same time. Terumi Mei was still restless, looking at Tsunade with a hint of provocation in her beautiful eyes. Advertisement not to be outdone, Tsunade raised his white and tender fist. It seems to be saying, beat Terumi Mei out at any time. Seeing the small actions of the two, Namikaze Kirito was a little bit dumbfounded. In the original book, one is 5th Hokage and the other is 5th Mizukage. It may be because of their personality or setting, they're incompatible. They have already been slept together, and they still get awkward after meeting. Seeing their man's expression and what he said, Tsunade and Terumi Mei couldn't know what the other was thinking, and hurriedly exhausted all the strength of 313, trying to break free from this warm embrace. All the rest arrived. Terumi Mei lost control of her body, and hurriedly begged for mercy from Namikaze Kirito. Her face was gradually covered with a blush, and she had already thought of the scene after that. Namikaze Kirito frowned, then seemed to think of something, with a smirk on his lips. Little devil, put me down. Just take this vixen away, and I promise not to be jealous of her next time. At this time, the front faces looked at each other seriously. Terumi Mei raised her head, her beautiful eyes were full of mist. This wave of weakness is a perfect score. Of course Tsunade will not be like her. Hearing this, she just clenched her fists. At the same time, in the meeting room in the village, besides Terumi Mei and Tsunade, the elders of Konoha village also had Orochimaru, who was assigned by Namikaze Kirito to seal the Dragon Bane. But this kind of power is simply too childish for Namikaze Kirito today. Neither of them wanted to have that kind of shy memory for a second time. Then you bully her too, of course, not here. No, absolutely not. Kirito, listen to me, put me down first, just take this woman away, I won't be jealous anymore. At this time, there was no hostility to be controlled. After the two women looked at each other, they began to cooperate. Both of them exuded a lot of chakra and planned to break free directly. The begging of the two for mercy had no effect at all. Along with a breeze, the figures of the three disappeared into the living room. But Namikaze Kirito would not allow the two of them to break free, and his hands were like iron hoops, tightly encircling the two of them. With a light push from him, the two of them flew into the air immediately. If Namikaze Kirito wasn't here, she would have done it long ago. Kirito, Sister Tsunade bullied me a lot when you were away. Chapter 153 Uchiha Madara Namikaze Minato presided over this memory. The purpose is to illustrate the recent actions of the Akatsuki organization. Tell me about the situation in each village. Hearing Namikaze Minato's words, I, being a straightforward person, spoke directly and loudly. The Phantom Raikage village was attacked by the Akatsuki organization. Those bastards played with the souls of the ancestors wantonly, and even my father was reincarnated. At least 500 ninjas died. If Itachi hadn't arrived in the end, the loss would have been even greater. I really want to blow their heads off. That's right. Onoki on the side also spoke slowly. Master Wu has also been reincarnated, and the graves of the ancestors of the past generations in every village have been dug up by these bastards. In addition to the first generation and second Hokage that appeared before, I'm afraid things will happen. It's going to be troublesome. As we all know, the people who come out of Impure World reincarnation not only have unlimited chakra, but also can be injured. They can only be dealt with by sealing. The enemy is in the dark, and we are in the open. HMPH. This group of guys can only attack sneakily, they won't confront you head on at all, so they can't find the location of the Akatsuki organization at all. Hearing what I and Onoki said, Namikaze Minato felt a little headache. Even if he was called the Golden Flash, he couldn't appear anywhere at any time, not to mention that the Akatsuki organization had reincarnated countless strong men. Many ninjas who went out to perform missions have already been killed, making ordinary ninjas panic. If this continues, many conflicts will arise inside before the opponents attack directly. The Akatsuki organization seems to understand that confrontation is definitely not an opponent, so they often send several Impure World reincarnation experts to attack various villages. When the powerhouses from the Fantasy Kingdom arrived, they didn't want to fight, and immediately retreated. It is impossible to track them. If people who come out of Impure World reincarnation are marked with the Flying Thunder God mark, the caster will immediately cancel the spell, causing the tracking signal to disappear midway. I have already sent out all the ninjas from the intelligence department, and it should only be a matter of time before we find the Akatsuki organization. Seeing Namikaze Minato frowning, Yakushi Kabuto stepped up in due course. However, we now need to strengthen the defenses of each village. I suggest that the ninjas should not go out to perform tasks for the time being. The villages will be responsible for the relief. We have integrated the economies of the previous 5 major countries, and we are still very rich. Wait until the problem of Akatsuki's organization is completely resolved, and then get back on track. Hearing Yakushi Kabuto's analysis, Namikaze Minato frowned, and he also thought it was a good proposal. Advertisement. Just when Namikaze Minato was about to announce the order, suddenly, a ninja ran in from outside in a panic. Elders, a strong man has come to our village, and people from the intelligence department believe that that man is, yes. Seeing the stammering look of the ninja who reported the message, I slapped the table and shouted angrily. Who is it? You are talking. You are so flustered. Are you worthy of the clothes on your body? Okay, Elder I, don't be impulsive. Namikaze Minato's good-natured attributes were brought into play again. First, he stabilized I's emotions, and then he walked up to the messenger ninja and asked gently. Calm down, don't be afraid, just speak directly. Uchiha Madara. Hearing this name, the atmosphere in the room instantly became heavy. You know, Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobarama, as well as the ancestors of the villages, were given to Impure World reincarnation by Akatsuki, so the appearance of Uchiha Madara is also normal. But the name of Ninja Shira is not for nothing. Senju Hashirama may reason with you, and then do it, but Uchiha Madara is definitely an existence that crushes you in person. What's more, didn't Uchiha Obito use the name of Uchiha Madara before? If you say that the Shao organization has nothing to do with him, ghosts don't believe it. After Namikaze Minato heard the name, he looked at everyone with a serious face. Everyone, the appearance of Uchiha Madara this time may be a result of ill intentions, so I immediately ordered the evacuation of civilians. Let's go out to meet the ancestor of this Uchiha clan. The entire magical Konoha village began to run in an orderly manner. The gate of Konoha village. A man with long black hair, wearing red armor, and a proud face stood on the ground, admiring the Konoha village with great interest. And in front of him is the patriarch of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Fugaku, and a group of Uchiha clansmen. Konoha, the capital of the fantasy country, has always been in charge of security for them. So the moment Uchiha Madara came out, Uchiha Fugaku came here with his subordinates. Advertisement, HMPH, the Uchiha clan has really been trained to be obedient watchdogs now. Uchiha Madara looked at the Uchiha clan at this time, her tone was full of disdain. Mangekyo Sharingan. And still eternal Mangekyo, it seems you got the eyes of your loved ones. He felt that Uchiha Fugaku, like himself, used the eyes of his loved ones to obtain the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. However, in the hands of Namikaze Kirito, it was too easy to open the Sharingan that would never be blind. You only need to use the dark fruit in Hashirama's cells to help the opponent open it easily. Boom. Uchiha Madara. The traitor of the clan is nothing more than a loser in history. Do you have the right to make irresponsible remarks about our Uchiha clan? But the opponent not only saw clearly, but also caught his fist. Oh, I have to say that you were able to say such things in front of me, which is enough to prove your courage, but... According to normal circumstances, the person from the Uchiha clan in front of him should have been sent flying without even being able to see his own fist. Uchiha Fugaku was having a hard time at this time, but the moment the other party moved, he activated the Sharingan, and even Li's Mangekyo Sharingan barely saw the figure clearly. In a panic, he blocked the opponent's attacking fist. Although he succeeded, it was not enough to hold his teeth. Uchiha Madara couldn't help but flash a hint of appreciation in his eyes. Swish. Uchiha Madara, who didn't know the truth, had a playful smile on his mouth. In an instant, Uchiha Madara was in front of Uchiha Fugaku and punched out. Otherwise, how could Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Itachi have such relatives to let them switch? Don't forget, there is also Orochimaru who opened the perfect Sharingan. That guy doesn't even have relatives. Hearing the other party insult him like this, even the ancestors cannot forgive him. This can directly make Fugaku angry. You know, he respects Namikaze Kirito very much, and he is the elder of the Fantasy Kingdom and the patriarch of the Uchiha clan. There is absolutely no need for a loved one's eyes to be replaced. Chapter 154. Everyone arrives. Hearing Uchiha Madara's words, although he was still struggling, there was still a trace of disdain in Uchiha Fugaku's eyes. Do you think everyone is like you? Put on your younger brother's eyes, Uchiha Madara. The ancestors should be buried in the soil, instead of messing up the ninja world like it is now. Speaking of which, Uchiha Fugaku's chakra burst out all over his body, and the powerful chakra even forced back Uchiha Madara. Afterwards, the sun array red light appeared on his body. Susanoo. Mangekyo Sharingan's strongest pupil technique. Watching this scene, Uchiha Madara's face was full of interest. What an interesting guy. Do you think you can fight me with these eyes? You even want to use Susanoo. Sadly weak, let me let you feel the real strength gap. As he said that, a blue light flashed from Uchiha Madara's body. Obviously also intends to use Susanoo. Uchiha Fugaku glanced back at the village behind him, and when he looked at Uchiha Madara again, there was a trace of firmness in his eyes. Swish. The red figure rushed over fiercely. The light red chakra materialized a big hand, pressed directly on the blue mask in front of Uchiha Madara and pushed him forward. Sensing 487's opponent's movements, Bizibo Madara did not resist. He knows what Uchiha Fugaku is doing, isn't it just to stay away from Konoha? But it doesn't matter, if you want to destroy Konoha, you can do it at any time, and it's rare to meet a talented person from your own junior, so how can you not try it yourself? At this time, a group of people stood at the entrance of the village. Only in the distance, two transparent titans suddenly appeared, one red and one basket. Accompanied by the roar, the two titans began to fight. Susanoo, known as the synonym of destruction, fought so horribly that the nearby mountains were all destroyed. The forest that had just been planted was once again wiped out. Is the owner okay? I don't know. That Uchiha Madara is a man who is as famous as first Hokage. I'm afraid the head of the family even opened Mangekyo. Advertisement, shut up. Don't let the crow mouth. Just when a group of Uchiha people were worried about the safety of Uchiha Fugaku, Namikaze Minato rushed over with several elders. Uchiha Madara. It's a good time to try the power of the old man's heart control? I shook his fist, expressing a strong desire to fight. CBBI, Onoki on the side, saw the opportunity and said full of sarcasm. Just stop for a while, old man Uchiha Madara has seen it before, with your strength, it is definitely not enough for the opponent. Onoki, you old guy must be scared. Okay, stop arguing. Hearing Namikaze Minato's order, both of them shut their mouths. In the fantasy land, when there is no Namikaze Kirito, then Namikaze Minato is the one in power, who dares to say more? Seeing the one red one basket match in the distance, Namikaze Minato first asked Yakushi Kabuto to lead the crowd at the entrance of the village. And he took Onoki, and Luo Sha to go together. Although the red Susanoo can compete with Uchiha Madara in a short period of time, anyone with a discerning eye can see that the red chakra has become weaker and weaker. If you don't go to support, I'm afraid Uchiha Fugaku will be buried in the hands of his ancestors in a while. A kunai was thrown directly by Namikaze Minato. His current physical strength is very terrifying. Even though he is far away from the battlefield, the kunai turned into a streamer and quickly rushed over. And the arrival of kunai has long been noticed by Uchiha Madara's double Sharingan. But he didn't do anything. Could a kunai break Susanoo's defense? Seeing the unique mark on kunai, Uchiha Fugaku's eyes lit up. He is very familiar with this kunai. Sure enough, when the kunai just reached the blue Susanoo, there was a light ding. The disdain in Uchiha Madara's eyes hadn't disappeared, and a golden light suddenly appeared in the place where Kun Wu was, and then four figures appeared in front of him. Lateral bolt of pain. Chop, original stripping technique. Golden sand waves. Big ball Rasengan. In just a short moment, as soon as the four of them appeared, they used their own powerful moves. Advertisement. Even Uchiha Madara didn't react to this sudden change. Boom boom boom. There were several loud noises, and the blue Susanoo cracked slightly, and then a big hole broke open. Seeing this opportunity, Uchiha Fugaku on the other side manipulated Susanoo directly, brandished the big knife in his hand and slashed over. The blue Susanoo finally burst open. The figure of Uchiha Madara also fell out of it, and the blame was that he underestimated the enemy. Impure World Reincarnation already has endless chakra. If he uses a large amount of chakra to cover Susan, it will definitely not be broken so easily. And he didn't use Susanoo's Otengu form either, because Uchiha Fugaku on the opposite side is useless. What he doesn't know is that it's not that Uchiha Fugaku doesn't want to use it, he just wants to hold Uchiha Madara here. Both of them have Sharingan, so Susanoo's final form can definitely be opened by both of them. But that would mean consuming a lot of chakra. If the support is not delayed, wouldn't Uchiha Madara go to the village to wreak havoc? And Uchiha Madara did exactly as he planned. With his own pride, the opponent didn't use Susanoo in the form of a big Tengu, so he didn't need it either. This created an opportunity for Namikaze Minato and the others. Seeing Uchiha Madara falling out, Namikaze Minato's eyes flashed, and he appeared directly behind him. As early as the moment Susanoo broke, he had already printed the Flying Thunder God mark on Uchiha Madara's back. Rasengan Shuriken. Dazzling white light shone in front of Uchiha Madara's eyes. If he resisted this forcefully, the other party might launch the sealing technique immediately. Therefore, Uchiha Madara's originally blood-red eyes began to gradually show ripples, and the purple Rinnegan appeared again. Okay. Namikaze Minato suddenly found that the Rasengan in his hand, which had changed the wind attribute, was gradually disappearing. With a premonition of the unexpected, his figure disappeared immediately and then appeared beside his family. It's really the right choice, otherwise I would have absorbed all the chakra in your body in just a moment. Uchiha Madara stood not far away, looking at each other proudly. Sure enough, Namikaze Minato looked at Rinnegan in Uchiha Madara's eye socket, without the slightest surprise. His own son had told him this information before. It seems that at a time of crisis, Rinnegan's spell was directly activated, which prevented the opponent from being sealed. Chapter 155. Wheel Tomb Border Prison. Seeing Uchiha Madara's eyes, Onoki, and Luosha gasped. They had seen the power of Rinnegan from their leader. Uchiha Fugaku, however, is full of fanaticism. Those are the eyes of a celestial being, and their leader also has such eyes. Uchiha Madara is obviously in the form of Impure World Reincarnation, and he also has them, which means that the end of Sharingan's evolution is Rinnegan. If this is the case, wouldn't he be able to open these eyes one day? Master Madara, you have finally shown these eyes. Under everyone's strange eyes, a plant suddenly appeared beside Uchiha Madara, and then a strange figure, half black and half white, appeared beside him. The deep voice was full of surprise. Absolutely, is Obito so useless? With your help, do you still need me to appear in this form? Hearing Uchiha Madara's dissatisfied tone, Black Zetsu was also a little speechless. He was originally an old Yinbi, and planned to wait for the implementation of Uchiha Obito's plan to completely resurrect Uchiha Madara, and then borrow his body to bring back his mother Obito Kagaya. Who knows, the plan was terminated by that D Namikaze Kirito before it even started. This time I didn't intend to use Uchiha Madara's impure world reincarnation, but Uchiha Obito, that B D, ordered Sarutobi Asuma to reincarnate Uchiha Madara without authorization. After all, his identity has been exposed, and because of Lin, he has become a little crazy at this time. They just want to destroy the world, and in their organization, the strong one who can come out of impure world reincarnation can fight against Namikaze Kirito, that is Uchiha Madara who owns Rinnegan. As for Senju Hashirama, Uchiha Obito knows it, you have wood style, Namikaze Kirito also has it, not to mention Rinnegan, how could Senju Hashirama be an opponent? Uchiha Madara was reincarnated without knowing the truth, and Sarutobi Asuma used someone else's body to tell Uchiha Madara, Akatsuki's plan. First attack Konoha. Anyway, having nothing to do, Uchiha Madara came over, but what he didn't expect was that there are so many strong people in Konoha today. Master Madara, there have been many changes in this world, especially that kid named Namikaze Kirito. Namikaze Kirito. That's right, he is the eldest son of 4th Hokage, and now he is the one who unifies the entire ninja world, not only owning Senju Hashirama's wood style, but also owning Rinnegan. Hearing this, Uchiha Madara was surprised. The surname Namikaze Kirito does not belong to the Uchiha clan at first glance, but the other party can actually activate Rinnegan and even have Hashirama's wood style? How is this going? When did the ninja world become unified? I don't even know. What the F*** is Obito doing all these years? But obviously, this time will not give Uchiha Madara a chance to think more, and several Phantom Kingdom ninjas in front of him have already rushed towards him. Advertisement, let's go together. It's just gravel, not half as good as me. Namikaze Minato appeared behind Uchiha Madara in an instant, and the Rasengan in his hand pressed directly. Humph. Uchiha Madara grabbed Namikaze Minato's hand. No matter how fast the opponent was, they still couldn't escape his eyes. Thunderplow hot knife. Ai's shirt was completely torn, revealing all his muscles, and he rushed straight up with his arms raised. Along with him was the sky full of gold sand, and Onoki flew into the air, his old eyes fixed on Uchiha Madara tightly. Let's go back. Uchiha Madara grabbed Namikaze Minato and slammed it on Ai's body. With a muffled bang, the two flew upside down. At this moment, Uchiha Madara was surrounded by golden sand all over the sky. Gold burial. Luo Sha's forehead was already sweating. Facing such a legendary ninja, he was very nervous, but he still used all his strength. The billowing gold dust directly entangled Uchiha Madara's legs. Well done, Rosa. Seeing this scene, Onoki couldn't help but let out a sigh of admiration, and then a transparent cube appeared in his hands. Original stripping technique, K. A burst of white light flashed across, the cube became larger and hit Uchiha Madara. Onoki, did the little devil back then become independent? However, compared with me, you are still far behind? After all, Uchiha Madara's Rinnegan lit up, and the transparent cube seemed to encounter obstacles, continuously drawing sparks in midair. This is Shenluo Tianzheng. The strong repulsive force makes Onoki's original boundary stripping technique impossible to get close to him. Asking for flowers, and just when Onoki's ninjutsu was blocked, a figure suddenly appeared in front of Uchiha Madara. It was Uchiha Fugaku. He had been waiting for a long time. Seeing that Uchiha Madara was fighting against Onoki with all his heart, how could he let go of this opportunity? Advertisement. A pair of scarlet Sharingan emitted a strange light directly. Illusion. Seeing Uchiha Fugaku's actions, Uchiha Madara said disdainfully, playing illusion in front of me, it seems that you still don't understand the difference between what our eyes can see. 11. Boom. The advancing figure of Uchiha Fugaku stopped suddenly. Then he lowered his head and looked at his belly in disbelief. Where blood is gushing now? 0. How is it possible? You obviously haven't moved at all. Uchiha Fugaku spat out a mouthful of blood, and stared at Uchiha Madara with wide eyes. He didn't understand where the attack came from. He can vaguely sense that there is someone in front of him, but wherever his eyes go, there is nothing at all. As if thinking of something, Uchiha Fugaku suddenly yelled, Rinnegan, is this Rinnegan's ability? Hearing this, there was a smile on Uchiha Madara's face. It seems that you still have some insight. That's right, this is my Rinnegan's ability. With your eyes, you can't even detect it. Yes, Uchiha Fugaku muttered to himself. He seemed to be able to feel an attack falling from his head, but at this moment he had no strength to stop it. Boom. Just as Uchiha Fugaku was waiting to die, a muffled sound sounded in front of him, and he opened his eyes and looked. That stalwart figure appeared in front of him again. My lord. My lord. Thank you, Fugaku. Is this Uchiha Madara? Namikaze Kirito stretched out his hand and swiped casually in the void in front of him, invisible to others, but Uchiha Madara saw it. His Rinnegan ability was round tomb-side prison. Create a person who does not belong to this world to attack the enemy. Only those who also have Rinnegan can see the figure of the round tomb prison. Others can only passively wait for death. And the kid in front of him flicked his hand so casually, and his substitute flew out to work. Chapter 156. My eyes are farther than yours. Sure enough, as long as the Rinnegan is turned on, can I see my round tomb? Uchiha Madara didn't panic at all. After all, Namikaze Minato saw the golden pair of Rinnegans in his eye sockets when he came out. People who also have Rinnegan can see the round tomb prison. Of course, it's just a matter of seeing. And Uchiha Madara's eyes flashed, and the round tomb prison was activated again. This time, two doubles appeared beside Namikaze Minato. A golden energy shield suddenly appeared, covering Namikaze Minato's whole body. The attacks of the two stand-ins in the round tomb prison were all blocked by the golden rain cover. Little devil, I don't know how you started Rinnegan, but how about joining me? I will bring real peace to the ninja world. There is a hint of 397 appreciation in Uchiha Madara's eyes. Being able to stop one's own attack already has the qualifications for cooperation. When the bloody moon appeared in the sky, he allowed the other party to share the results. Who cannot pursue a peaceful world? Facing Uchiha Madara's solicitation, Namikaze Minato looked like a fool. Little devil, what does that look mean? No matter how informal Uchiha Madara is, he can still see the sarcasm in the eyes of the other party. If he solicits the other party with good intentions, it's fine if he doesn't appreciate it. How can he humiliate himself like this? True peace in the ninja world? It depends on you? Hearing Namikaze Minato's words, Uchiha Madara laughed inscrutably twice. He thought that the other party didn't understand his plan at all, that's why he showed such an expression. Project Tasuki no Mi. This is the plan I asked Obito to complete, as long as I have these eyes. Uchiha Madara pointed to the Rinnegan in his eye socket and then continued. Advertisement. Use the 9-tailed beasts again to revive the real 10 tails. That huge power can project the Sharingan on the moon. At that time, the entire ninja world will fall into the real illusion world. Don't worry, it's a real illusion world, and it's forever. Everyone can live forever in the world they want. Don't you think this can make the ninja world peaceful and everyone can live forever? Uchiha Madara had a proud look on his face when he said this. This is what he wants to do, not to become the strongest. He thinks that his grand ambition will be understood by Namikaze Minato, who also owns Rinnegan. After all, at this level, there is nothing to pursue, so it is better to complete this feat together. But to Uchiha Madara's surprise, even after he finished speaking, Namikaze Minato still had the same mocking expression on his face. Is that so? It seems that your eyes are too short to see what kind of changes the plan I'm talking about will bring to the whole world. Hearing this, Namikaze Minato said softly, it seems that you are very confident in your plan, and I appreciate your last sentence. But it should be reversed. What you see is not worth mentioning with the future I see. If you want peace in the entire ninja world, I've already done it. You don't need your so-called Project Tasuki no Mi at all. As for the future you imagined? Don't laugh so hard, it's just your fantasy, and you yourself are just a puppet bound by a village, or even a world, and you want to control the world. Obviously this sentence angered Uchiha Madara, causing his eyes to become cold at this time. Your so-called world peace is nothing more than playing games, and you still call me a puppet? Then let you really feel the gap between us. Different Sharingan will also have strengths and weaknesses, such as me and the Uchiha tribe next to you. Uchiha Madara looked at Uchiha Fugaku, and said calmly, of course Rinnegan is the same, and then let you feel the power of my pupils. After saying that, Uchiha Madara formed a mudra with both hands, and the blue Susanoo behind her also started to make a mudra. Soon, the originally clear sky was suddenly covered, and the ninjas in the fantasy kingdom looked up subconsciously. I suddenly saw a familiar scene. Isn't this the move my country's lord used when facing the former Cloud Shinobi village and Rock Shinobi village? Let me end everything, feel hopeless, this is the real, huh? Uchiha Madara suddenly felt a little strange, with his pupil power. Of course he could clearly see the expressions of the people around him. He could even see the expressions of Konoha and Sui Kong in the distance. But facing his natural disaster level ninjutsu. Tengai Shinsei. Advertisement. There is no fear on the faces of these people, more than that, there is even a trace of curiosity and familiarity? How is this possible? Has anyone else used this jutsu before me? Then I saw Namikaze Minato with a playful smile. That's right, if there is really anyone in this world who can use this level of ninjutsu, it must be this kid in front of him. Konoha Dance King. Cough cough. No, Uchiha Madara, I have shown you this ninjutsu before, and you can use it again now, but it doesn't make me feel to shock. However, I can show you something fun. Then, Namikaze Minato put his hands together. Countless black mist swept out from behind him. Looking at the gradually widening black mist, even Uchiha Madara had a hint of disbelief in his eyes. What kind of power is this? Even Rinnegan can't see through it. Impossible, no matter what kind of secret art, in the final analysis, it is just a change in nature. How can Rinnegan see through it? Did you feel fear when something happened in front of you that you couldn't understand? Don't be too arrogant, kid, even if you can block the first meteorite, there is still another one behind. Since you are the leader of the entire ninja world, let me see how you protect them. Of course, you'll see. 3.8 As he said that, Namikaze Minato's eyes turned cold, and he activated the ability of the dark fruit with all his strength. Dark escape, dark sky. Countless black mist suddenly unfolded in the sky, and the entire sky seemed to be wrapped in darkness, just like the name of this technique, forming a black sky. The meteorite that Tengai Shinsei fell is rapidly approaching the dark scene. The expected roar did not appear, and the huge meteorite was merged into it as soon as it touched the dark scene. Not a single sound came out, even the falling airwaves disappeared in it. Impossible, this is impossible, what kind of power is this? Uchiha Madara's expression is a bit crazy. To be honest, if this ninjutsu is used by the enemy, he can smash it, but it is absolutely impossible to make the meteorite disappear so easily. Chapter 157. At that time, you should die. There was not even a trace left behind, as if the meteorite disappeared before my eyes like a bubble. Uchiha Madara was born in the Sengoku era and has been fighting all his life. It can be said that he is very familiar with this ninja world, and he can see through even those weird ninjutsu at a glance. But ever since the kid in front of him used this black mist, he fell into self-doubt. Does the ninja world really have power that he has never seen before? Even the power of 10 tails, he can probably see it. But being made a little flustered by a descendant? Under the gazes of countless people, the two meteorites disappeared directly into the midair, and the black scene also disappeared together. All the villagers in the fantasy Konoha village cheered happily. If you stand next to them, you can hear them all shouting the words, Master Lord. As an iconic character, Namikaze Kirito's ability has long been known to everyone, so when the darkness appeared, everyone didn't panic at all, and even had hot eyes. This is their lord, the stronger the calendar, the better of course. Now the peace is hard won. After the reunification, these people know the benefits of the 21 reunification. The text and coins are all unified. The ninjas go out of the village to perform tasks, and there is no need to worry that the enemy village will send ninjas out to attack. Like Sand Shinobi Village, which is poor in resources, it has received the full support of the Fantasy Kingdom, and now everyone has a good life. So, who is not happy? Of course, we all hope that Namikaze Kirito will become stronger and stronger, so that no matter what happens, the Lord of the Kingdom will solve it. Although there are still villains, who dares to face the hostility of the Fantasy Kingdom in the entire ninja world? As for what Uchiha Madara said before, the elders who heard it were full of disdain. What illusion world, what eternal life, to put it bluntly, are not false, only the present is real. Although at the beginning they all had resentment towards Namikaze Kirito, because the unification of the ninja world itself was not on the side of righteousness. Now after the real unification, I know what peace of mind is, not to mention that everyone has obtained the highest status in the Fantasy Kingdom, the position of elder. What is there to be dissatisfied with? After Namikaze Kirito put away the shady scene, he looked at Uchiha Madara again. How is it? Are you satisfied with this surprise? Little devil. Who are you? Uchiha Madara completely ignored the ridicule in the other party's tone at this time, and instead asked seriously. Advertisement. Hearing this, Namikaze Kirito pointed to the black and white Akatsuki members not far away. Who am I? Didn't that guy who looks like a plant tell you? Hearing Namikaze Kirito's words, Uchiha Madara shook his head. You are definitely not as simple as it appears on the surface. The power you use has never appeared in the ninja world, and even if you can transplant Rinnegan, it shouldn't be so perfect. If I didn't believe it before, I believe it a little bit now. Are you a legendary fairy? Namikaze Kirito's jaw almost dropped from Uchiha Madara's guess. Immortal? You mean Sage of Six Paths? That guy died years ago, but if he's alive. As he spoke, Namikaze Kirito looked at Black Zetsu who was not far away. His eyes directly shocked Black Zetsu, and he was afraid that the other party would say something he didn't want to hear. He should find someone from your organization. Namikaze Kirito's pointed words, coupled with his gaze, made Uchiha Madara catch something in his heart. But in an instant, that feeling disappeared. For some reason, that feeling drove him crazy, and his intuition reminded him that it was dangerous, but there seemed to be another voice in his heart, telling him that the other party is just confusing him and reassuring him. Little ghost, let's treat it as our first meeting today, and we will meet again next time. Uchiha Madara is not planning to leave because he is afraid, but because he is in a mess right now, so he has to go to see Obito quickly and ask him what is going on in the ninja world recently. Similarly, Namikaze Kirito didn't stop the other party, and Uchiha Madara is just a dead man now. Even if it is sealed, it doesn't make any sense. It's better to let him go back directly, which is also beneficial to his future plans. Thinking of this, Namikaze Kirito spoke meaningfully. Of course we will meet again, but next time we meet, you will probably die at that time. Hearing this, Uchiha Madara was so angry that she wanted to laugh. He felt that the other party was saying that he would kill him the next time we met. When he is really resurrected, he will use 10 tails to become 10 tails Jinchuriki. Who can kill him? Don't talk about the endless life, just talk about the strength of becoming a 10 tails Jinchuriki. It's not something the people in front of you can resist. Advertisement. Obviously, he misunderstood what Namikaze Kirito meant. And Namikaze Kirito didn't explain, and looked at each other twice again, and Uchiha Madara directly disappeared in place with the seal of both hands. The black-white Zetsu not far away also began to slowly merge into the ground, and before disappearing, Black Zetsu's eyes were fixed on Namikaze Kirito. From what the other party said just now, and the eyes full of meaning, Black Zetsu thinks that Namikaze Kirito must know something. Seeing that the mother is about to be resurrected, there must be no mistakes at this time. That Namikaze Kirito obviously already has invincible strength, plus he knows some secrets. Why didn't he stop him? Or do you want 10 tails? What can I do to Namikaze Kirito when I lose my combat power? Guessing this possibility made Black Zetsu even more nervous. Now he doesn't know whether to proceed with the plan. Although the current plan is still under my own control, can it really succeed? What if the mother is not the other party's opponent? Or even if it succeeds, is it really what he wants? It was his mother's people. Don't you see that Uchiha Madara came just now, and he couldn't help him? Could it be that he wants to repeat the old trick? Absorb the power of his mother? Recalling the look in Namikaze Kirito's eyes, Black Zetsu always felt inexplicable. Either way, it's not a good thing for Black Zetsu. Thinking of this, my heart ached. If it's the former, what is the other party's purpose of resurrecting the mother? Others don't know, but Black Zetsu saw that Namikaze Kirito absorbed Daijon Mokura style with his own hands. Did he want to see his mother resurrected? However, it is obviously impossible to defeat Namikaze Kirito head on at 327. Black Zetsu doesn't have any power, what he has is only law in ratio attributes and superb IQ. Otherwise he would not be able to hide in the ninja world for so long in order to complete the current situation. Chapter 158 Uchiha Madara's Wrath. Black Zetsu has been anxious in his heart, and the short-sighted white Zetsu didn't notice the abnormality of the people around him. Soon, he returned to the location of the Akatsuki organization. At this time, Uchiha Madara has arrived and is chatting with Uchiha Obito alone. After being stimulated before, Uchiha Obito completely lost the mysterious appearance before, with tattered clothes and no mask. His face covered with scars was pale. Her lips were also chapped, and Sharingan didn't have the slightest look at that moment. The whole person seemed to have lost all anger. Obito, I need an explanation from you. Uchiha Madara's deep voice resounded throughout the room. On the way back, he eliminated Namikaze Minato's Flying Thunder God imprint. As soon as he came to the cave, he saw Obito in this appearance. I asked Sarutobi Asuma on the side to know what Namikaze Kirito has done these years. Uzumaki Nagato, who I left behind, was captured in the fantasy land. How about resurrecting the dead without Rinnegan? Hearing Uchiha Madara's questioning, Uchiha Obito seemed to have a slight reaction, and raised his head slightly to look at Uchiha Madara. Lin is back. Uchiha Obito, you trash, is it just a woman that made you look like this? Who knows, Uchiha Madara's words seemed to turn on the switch of Uchiha Obito. He just ran away, stepped forward and grabbed Uchiha Madara's collar tightly. That's Lin. Not a woman, not anybody, that's my Lin, do you understand? Boom. The full strength of Uchiha Obito is not even the slightest against Uchiha Madara's strength, let alone him now. With a muffled sound, Uchiha Obito flew directly in response to the sound, embedded in the wall. Clatter. Uchiha Madara walked slowly in front of Uchiha Obito and spoke softly. Obito, you have to know that you are still alive because of my help, and I let you execute Project Tasuki no Mi, creating a world in your fantasy, but you ruined all the plans, and you became this look like backquote. What do you know? Advertisement. Uchiha Obito didn't show respect to Uchiha Madara at all, and roared angrily. Lin, she was clearly dead, but she was resurrected in front of my eyes, and now her heart is full of that Namikaze Kirito. What can I do? What should I do? Boom. Uchiha Madara saw the spineless appearance of the person he had chosen, and directly punched Uchiha Obito in the stomach. Ahem. You? What are you doing? Uchiha Obito coughed up a mouthful of blood, his eyes were full of hatred, he didn't know whether it was for Uchiha Madara or Namikaze Kirito. HMPH, since the woman who was resurrected by the little ghost is different from before, it is not the real her. If you want to see the real her, you should launch Project Tasuki no Mi to make her truly resurrected. Yeah, that's right, that's not Lin, only I can bring the real Lin back to life, and I will create a world with Lin. As if deluding himself, Uchiha Obito muttered to himself, eyes full of enthusiasm. After seeing Lin resurrected, he no longer knew the meaning of what he did. However, after hearing what Uchiha Madara said, he suddenly felt that Project Tasuki no Mi should be completed, so that Lin could be truly resurrected. He'd always known this. It just needs one person to agree. After Uchiha Madara said this, he seemed to have grasped the straw. Seeing Uchiha Obito's expression, Uchiha Madara smiled. Now he is still the identity of Impure World Reincarnation, some things must be done with the king. Otherwise, he would have killed this trash with his own hands. Under the watchful eyes of several people, Uchiha Obito soon regained his composure, walked out from the wall, and looked at Uchiha Madara coldly. Madara, what should I do next? Facing Uchiha Obito's completely disrespectful look, Uchiha Madara was not angry either. Instead, he sat down on a chair in the room. He opened his mouth with great interest. When I went to Konoha, I felt that there are 2 Jinchuriki in their village. To revive the 10 tails, they must be needed. The first thing is to... No need. Before Uchiha Madara finished speaking, Uchiha Obito directly interrupted the other party. 10 tails will be revived soon, and the 2 Jinchuriki in the Fantasy Kingdom are completely unnecessary. You just need to tell me the next plan. Oh, advertisement. Can 10 tails be fully revived without 1 tail and 9 tails? Though it was funny, Uchiha Madara didn't doubt Uchiha Obito's words. If anyone in this world wants to complete Project Tasuki no Mi, it is the people in this room. So there is no need for Uchiha Obito to lie to him. It seems that you have grown a lot, but that's okay. The next plan is for you to become 10 tails Jinchuriki. Okay. Hearing Uchiha Madara's words, Uchiha Obito didn't show the slightest expression. The matter of becoming 10 tails Jinchuriki is also very dull. Then find a way to bring Nagato back. I need to be fully resurrected. With such a body, it is impossible to complete Project Tasuki no Mi. Nagato. I can come and figure it out. When it comes to the resurrection of Uchiha Madara, Uchiha Obito's eyes obviously shone with a strange light, as if he had his own thoughts. Uchiha Madara, who is very deep in the city, can't guess the other party's little thoughts. But once Rinnegan is successfully retrieved, by then, it's not up to Uchiha Obito to say. Little ghost, let you live for a while, and when I am resurrected, you will be useless. Thinking. So good Zhao. Got here, Uchiha Madara gave Black Zetsu a look. The latter also nodded knowingly. Next, take me to Ten Tails. It is good. It was said that Uchiha Obito led the way, and Uchiha Madara and Sarutobi Asuma followed behind him. Passing through the dark and deep tunnel, several people soon came to an underground space to report. There are countless sealing techniques on the walls here, and several members of the Akatsuki organization are all around Geto statue, forming seals. Even seeing the arrival of Uchiha Obito, there is no slight reaction. It's not their fault, but Ten Tails has been completely revived at this time, but Uchiha Obito used the sealing technique and the unique technique of the Akatsuki organization to make Ten Tails sleep temporarily. They can't control the Ten Tails without the Rinnegan. So I can only do this first, otherwise the first thing Ten Tails will do after waking up is probably to kill them first. 159th John Lin and Tamari, is this Ten Tails? Uchiha Madara looked at the sleeping giant in front of him, and even he couldn't help but let out a sigh. The full body of Ten Tails and the terrifying chakra don't need to be seen by Rinnegan, just standing on the side can feel a sense of suffocation. It is completely beyond the reach of ordinary tailed beasts. In front of a strong man like Uchiha Madara, an ordinary tailed beast, even the strongest 9 tails, is just like a toy. But facing 10 tails, if 10 tails has his own mind, I'm afraid Uchiha Madara can't handle him. This is the origin of the world. At that time, the Sage of 6 Paths had no choice but to disperse the 10 tails into 9-tailed beasts. In Uchiha Madara's pupils, the purple Rinnegan suddenly appeared, and then looked towards the place where the 10 tails were. As if sensing something, 10 tails' body trembled slightly. Sure enough, only Rinnegan can control 10 tails. Hearing Uchiha Madara's words, Uchiha Obito understood. One of the most failed things at the beginning was to let Uzumaki Nagato join the fantasy country and become Namikaze Kirito's subordinate. The reason for taking the risk to obtain the Daejeon Mappa-style chakra fruit is so that you don't have to catch the 1 tail and 9 tails in the Fantasyland, and you don't have to face Namikaze Kirito head-on. To control the 10 tails now, you must acquire the Rinnegan. Uchiho 83 Wave Madara is the body of Impure World Reincarnation. The pair of Rinnegans are useless, because the body of Impure World Reincarnation cannot seal the tailed beast at all, so naturally it cannot become Jinchuriki. In the ninja world, there are currently only 2 pairs of Rinnegan, and 1 pair is on Namikaze Kirito, so don't think about it. And the other pair is on Uzumaki Nagato's body. If Nagato can be captured quietly, that is of course the best. If possible, Uchiha Obito has absolutely no desire to confront Namikaze Kirito head-on. Even their organization can resurrect the ancestors. But Namikaze Kirito's combat strength is obvious to all, and it is not possible to win with a large number of people, and there is Lin in the Fantasy Kingdom. Once he went to fight the Fantasy Country head-on, then Lin would definitely appear. The last person Uchiha Obito wants to face right now is her. Thinking of this, he fell into deep thought, trying to figure out a way to get the best of both worlds. Uchiha Madara on the side didn't intend to talk to Uchiha Obito either, his thoughts and eyes were completely on 10 tails. That's it, advertisement as soon as I am resurrected, such a deceitful wannabe will be mine. Until then, I will truly create a peaceful world. The two just stood here with their own thoughts, in the fantasy Konoha village. At this time, Namikaze Kirito is in the basement, so the basement is still preserved. It is because it must be used here to do some experiments that cannot be made public. Of course, if people are needed to test, they only need to catch some bandits or villains who have committed serious crimes. For this, Namikaze Kirito has no psychological burden. Namikaze Kirito, who was testing Orochimaru's results, suddenly fell into a soft arm. My lord, you are here. With that lively young girl's appearance and sweet voice, who else could it be if it wasn't Rin Nohara? She has just been revived not long ago, and she has to come to the basement to find Orochimaru to get health potions, otherwise her body will collapse. Seeing Nohara Rin so attached to herself, the corners of Namikaze Kirito's mouth rose slightly. Lin, how have you been these days? I'm doing well, thank you lord for your concern, but... When he said this, a trace of sadness suddenly appeared on Rin Nohara's face. This expression made Namikaze Kirito's eyes turn cold. Could it be that the other party thought of something? But his concerns were clearly filtered. Orochimaru, as a scientist, would not allow such a thing to happen. I saw Nohara Lin twisted a bit, and said tremblingly, it's just that I haven't seen the king for several days, and I feel very sad. Hearing this, Namikaze Kirito smiled softly again, put his hands on the fluffy hair, and spoke softly. So that's the way it is. I'm sorry, Lin. I've been a little busy these days. It's me who left you cold, CBBB. No. Hearing Namikaze Kirito's slightly remorseful tone, Rin Nohara shook her head in panic. My lord is right to be busy, as long as I can remember me, I will be very happy. Lin is so good, how could I forget you? Namikaze Kirito hugged Nohara Rin in his arms, found a chair and sat down. Advertisement. Seeing this scene, Orochimaru and several subordinates hurriedly resigned, leaving the room to the two. Really, my lord. Yi Yuanlin's eyes were a bit confused, and the joy in her heart was overflowing when she heard that her sweetheart had always loved her. Of course it's true, Lin. Namikaze Kirito was close to Nohara Rin's ear, and when he spoke, the hot breath that he exhaled made the latter tremble. My lord, I feel a little uncomfortable. Huh? Why is it uncomfortable? I don't know, maybe I have a fever and feel very hot. Namikaze Kirito spoke with great interest. When Nohara Rin came into contact with Temari, of course he knew that no whisper could stop Namikaze Kirito's ears. Oh, I don't know how Lin wants to help me. You must know that Lin was not very old when she died, and after she was resurrected, she still looked like this young girl. Seeing her like this, Gaara and Kankuro on the side approached. Those words seemed to open the door to the new world for Lin Nohara. With that gentle temperament, it is difficult for anyone to refuse her. In addition, he has a somewhat morbid attachment to Namikaze Kirito, and has long become one with the three disciples of Namikaze Kirito. Looking at Namikaze Kirito, there was a hint of determination in his eyes. Seeing Namikaze Kirito's slightly approving eyes and remembering what Temari said, Nohara Rin mustered up the courage to take off the pair of blue ninja sandals she was wearing, revealing a pair of crystal-clear jade feet. So, feeling the change of Namikaze Kirito at this time, I know what he is thinking. She knew for the first time that it was so. Especially Temari, the two became good sisters who talked about everything. Master. Lord, I want to help you. Suddenly, Lin seemed a little stiff in Namikaze Kirito's arms. She felt the change of the king. When I heard that Lin was obsessed with Namikaze Kirito, but didn't know what to do, Temari, who had already experienced it, blushed and told him all about what had happened between herself and Namikaze Kirito. Take a closer look, as expected. Nohara Rin's face was already blushing at this moment, and she was about to bleed. I don't know if it was because of a real physical problem, or Namikaze Kirito's big hands that were making trouble. At this time, Temari was still practicing ninjutsu seriously in the training ground, but for some reason, he always felt a little uneasy in his heart. Chapter 160 Uzumaki Nagato. Temari, what's wrong with you? Go back if you don't feel well, don't get in the way here. Although there is no original book, Uzumaki Naruto gave Gaara the friendship-breaking face fist, but the fantasy country has already unified the ninja world, and Luo Sha has completely resolved the misunderstanding with Gaara. Now Wo Ailu has become a tsundere, obviously also worried about Temari, but his mouth is still so tough. I'm fine. Temari suppressed the unease in her heart, she didn't know what was going on, she felt as if someone had betrayed her. Impossible. Gaara and Kankuro are both here, who will make my heart beat so fast? After thinking about it for a long time, Temari didn't know what went wrong, so Temari had to suppress the doubts in his heart and continue to train himself. Because the Akatsuki organization often assigns strong men from Impure World reincarnation to harass each village, in order to ensure the safety of the village. Every ninja village is assigned several strong men by the fantasy country. On the Rock Shinobi village side, there are Uzumaki Nagato and Konan, and Uzumaki Nagato who owns Rinnegan. Even if those eyes don't belong to him, he can still display strength beyond cage level. Coupled with the support of a cage-level Konan, as well as the powerhouse of the Phantom Rock Shinobi village itself, it has repelled the attacks of the Akatsuki organization several times. You know, Rinnegan's basic pupil technique has a powerful sealing technique called planetary devastation, and Uzumaki Nagato can definitely occupy a certain advantage in the face of the strong Impure World reincarnation. Nagato, I don't know why, I think the Akatsuki organization has been too quiet recently, something must have happened. In a room, the Dark Beauty, Konan was talking to the red-haired young man in front of him with a worried face. Today's Uzumaki Nagato has been recuperated by his body, and with the help of Namikaze Kirito, his body has recovered as before. Not only that, the powerful physique of the Uzumaki family has also been displayed. Even without Rinnegan, it is estimated that the combat power can reach cage level. Seeing Konan's concern, Uzumaki Nagato said, "Don't worry, Konan, the leader has already returned. It is probably because of this reason that the Akatsuki organization dare not act." Better so. Konan kept his face gloomy, and Uzumaki Nagato was thinking of saying something when suddenly, a thought flashed through his mind. I saw him make a far-fetched teasing expression. It's not that he doesn't want to laugh, but that he hasn't laughed for a long time, so it's hard to avoid laughing now. Konan, what's going on with you and the leader? What? Nagato, what are you talking about? What and the leader? I don't even know what you are talking about. Advertisement at the mention of Namikaze Kirito, Konan completely flustered. There was also a blush on the white face. A lot of people in the village have seen you when you were shopping with the leader. That smile seems to have returned to when you were a child. I am really happy for you. Shut up. Shut up, I just met him by chance that day, we have nothing to do. The more he talked, the more chaotic it became. Konan's performance was equivalent to acquiescing to this matter. Seeing the gratified expression on Uzumaki Nagato's face, Konan's heart was filled with shame and anger. She doesn't know how she feels about Namikaze Kirito, every time she sees him, her heart can't stop beating fast. Like, did you like the leader? Is this what it feels like to love someone? Konan, you. Nagato, has anyone ever told you that you have a horrible smile? Before Uzumaki Nagato continued to tease, he was interrupted by Konan's words, and Uzumaki Nagato fell into speechlessness. Bang bang bang. While the two were talking, there was a knock on the door, and a ninja walked in. Master Nagato, Master Konan, people from the Akatsuki organization are here. Hearing this sentence, the faces of Uzumaki Nagato and Konan became serious. Sure enough, this organization will not stop. As soon as it was said that they had been quiet for 2 days, they sent someone over. Just when the two were about to leave, Uzumaki Nagato suddenly stopped. Konan, you go and have a look first, I'll be there later. Well, then I'll go there first. Konan did not suspect him, and 2 white wings appeared behind him, flying into the sky. The ninja who came to report also left. Uzumaki Nagato was the only one left in the room, and after he closed the door, his face became a little bit colder. Obito, it seems that you are really used to being a mouse, always hiding in the dark. Advertisement. Flowers please. A spiral suddenly appeared in the air, and then 2 people appeared directly. Uchiha Obito with the mask, and Uchiha Madara by Impure World Reincarnation. As soon as he appeared, Uchiha Madara watched Uzumaki Nagato with interest. Nagato, you have really grown up, but you should pay back what you owe me. Uchiha Madara. Uzumaki Nagato looked at the man who was famous in the Sengoku era in front of him with complicated eyes. He has seen from the information that Uchiha Madara has appeared in the capital of the fantasy country. I was repelled by the leader, but I didn't expect to come to the illusory rock shinobi village without a sound. It was this man, who gave himself the Rinnegan, that led Uzumaki Nagato down a dark path. Zero informed by Namikaze Kirito, Uzumaki Nagato already knew the truth, including Yahiko's death, and Project Tasuki no Mi. Nagato, it's been a long time. You sent Konan to protect her, right? You really have a gentle character, W. Uchiha Obito's tone was slightly mocking. The so-called god before has become so human? Facing the ridicule, Uzumaki Nagato did not show any anger, but looked at Uchiha Obito with a teasing look. The leader told me before that the girl you want to give your life to protect has completely fallen in love with the leader. Uchiha Obito, what's the point of you appearing here? And then Uchiha Madara's name is pretending to be mysterious, and the result is nothing or nothing can't get it. Nagato, long time no see, have you become very eloquent? At this point, the chakra on Uchiha Obito surged wildly. On the other hand, Uchiha Madara watched the confrontation between the two with a smile on his face, without any intention of interrupting. Now that it was time to start, Uchiha Madara also came in front of Uzumaki Nagato. With a flash of purple light, Uzumaki Nagato was directly imprisoned, and then Uchiha Obito activated Kamui, and the figures of the 3 disappeared into the room. In a desert near the illusory rock shinobi village, a transparent spiral slowly appears. Uchiha Obito and Uchiha Madara came here with the imprisoned Uzumaki Nagato. Let me see, lend you my eyes, how powerful you can display. Chapter 161 Is the plan too smooth? Uchiha Madara is a fighting maniac in essence, so he did not continue to imprison Uzumaki Nagato with round tomb prison, but let him go, intending to see his current strength. Hearing this, Uzumaki Nagato didn't talk nonsense and stretched his hand forward. Planetary devastation. Boom boom. As the earth shook, countless flying sand and stones were lifted from the ground, and Uchiha Madara and Uchiha Obito were also carried into the sky by 2 stones. Countless stones began to cover the figures of the 2. Facing this scene, Uchiha Madara not only did not have the slightest fear, but also had a hint of disappointment in his eyes. Sure enough, even if others have been transplanted with Rinnegan, the abilities they can use are just the basic abilities of Rinnegan. A purple light flashed, and the flying stone fell to the ground again, seemingly completely out of Uzumaki Nagato's control. Mere rubble, and second generation, gives me half a point. Uchiha Madara patted the dust off his body, looked up at Uzumaki Nagato proudly. Super. Shinra Sky Sign. Seeing that ordinary moves are definitely useless against such a ninja, the Vortex Nagato is no longer reserved, and the move is a big move. The chakra in the body was instantly emptied, and there was even Madara white hair on his forehead. Originally, his modified body contained a lot of chakra, but the ninjutsu he used this time not only emptied the chakra in his body, but also overdrawn his vitality. It is obvious that he has moved the idea of success or benevolence. Boom. The repulsive force centered on Uzumaki Nagato, and it spread crazily to the surroundings, and all the surrounding mountains, rocks and trees were all destroyed. The terrifying repulsion brought up a burst of dust, making it hard for people to see what happened inside. In the fantasy rock shinobi village, Konan had just finished the battle at this time. She was very puzzled why the opponent retreated directly, even though the opponent hadn't lost. Another point is why Nagato hasn't come yet. Not long after, a messenger ninja came and told Konan that Nagato had disappeared into the room. Not good. Boom. Just when Konan was going to look for Nagato, a deafening roar came from the distant desert. Hearing this, Konan immediately transformed into wings and flew towards the direction of the sound. Those beautiful pupils were full of worry. Advertisement. Nagato, don't let anything happen to you, you are the only one left as my companion. On this side, after Nagato used Chaoshin Luo Tianzheng, the 2 people in front of him had already disappeared. After the dust fell to the ground, Uchiha Obito came out of the Kamui space. At this time, he was in tatters and his mask was broken. There was still a little blood on the corner of his mouth. Damn Nagato. Just at the moment when Uzumaki Nagato used Shinra Tenjin, Uchiha Obito got into the Kamui space. Unfortunately, this is the move that Uzumaki Nagato used with all his might. It's still impossible to dodge and be affected if it weren't for the cells of Senju Hashirama in his body at this time. Just being scratched could seriously injure him. Obito, you really haven't made any progress. Uchiha Madara suddenly fell from midair. Although Chaoshin Luo Tianzhong is strong, it doesn't have much influence on him at all, not to mention that he is still the body of Impure World Reincarnation, so what if he is killed? Infinite reincarnation, infinite chakra, that's the advantage of Impure World Reincarnation. At this moment, he saw the embarrassed Obito, and couldn't help laughing out loud. Shut up, Madara. Facing Uchiha Madara's teasing, Uchiha Obito was obviously very dissatisfied, and directly looked at the other party angrily. And Uchiha Madara didn't care about his eyes, but looked at Uzumaki Nagato who was panting heavily. Is it over? Are there any stronger moves? You didn't just develop Rinnegan just like that, did you? Sure enough, either his awakened eyes are useless, so how did Namikaze Kirito, who obviously does not have Uchiha blood, manage to have Rinnegan? Is his predatory ability really that terrifying? Phew. You really deserve to be Uchiha Madara, it seems that I can't keep those eyes. Uzumaki Nagato panted heavily, and spoke with a smile, completely ignoring the dangerous scene in front of him. You are going to die soon, but you can still laugh? Seeing Uzumaki Nagato's expression, Uchiha Madara asked slightly amusedly. Death is nothing to be afraid of. I can still see my former companions. What's more, the leader will save me. Hearing this sentence, Uchiha Obito was speechless for a while. He wondered why there were so many secret arts on Namikaze Kirito. It's the same as without money. Not just the ability to loot, but also to pull yourself out of the Kamui space. And that terrifying concussion ability, advertisement, can even bring people back to life. People who have been dead for a long time can be resurrected, so how can others play? Since you gave up, I will take those eyes away, shish. Just when Uchiha Obito was about to gouge out Uzumaki Nagato's eyes, several paper shurikens fell directly in front of his eyes, sealing his action. Conan. In midair, a beautiful figure slowly descended. It was Conan who heard the sound. Watching Uzumaki Nagato collapsed, he was full of worry. Nagato, are you okay? Conan, why are you here? The arrival of the companion surprised Uzumaki Nagato, who did not tell Conan the leader's plan. But Uzumaki Nagato obviously didn't mean that, and threw the eyes in his hand directly, and his eye sockets had already turned into 2 blood holes. But the proud Uchiha Madara clearly doesn't care if Uzumaki Nagato has any small thoughts. As long as you get the Rinnegan and wait until you are resurrected to become 10 Tails Jinchuriki, what about the conspiracy? Just when Uchiha Obito was still debating whether to take the risk of taking Uzumaki Nagato's eyes, Uzumaki Nagato here has already dug out his own eyes 3.0. Before Uchiha Obito and Conan could finish pretending, the confused Conan was hit by Uzumaki Nagato in the back of the neck and fell unconscious on the ground. If it goes on like this, I'm afraid something bad will happen. Are you so decisive? But looking at the black crowd behind, it was obvious that the ninjas from the Magic Rock Shinobi village came to support. If this continues, if Namikaze Kirito comes, I am afraid it will be troublesome. Did the plan go a little too smoothly? Holding a pair of purple Rinnegans, Uchiha Obito couldn't be happier. It was a bit too coincidental. According to Uzumaki Nagato's character, it is impossible to just gouge out his own eyes. Boom, Conan, do you still know me? You want to? No matter how powerful the conspiracy is, it can't compare to absolute strength. Uchiha Obito looked at Uzumaki Nagato with cold eyes. He didn't know what the other person meant. Can you respect us? At least try to resist. This scene was the Uchiha duo who were stupefied next to them. Chapter 162. This is our plan. When the support arrived, Uchiha Madara and Uchiha Obito had already left. And Conan and Uzumaki Nagato were also taken back to the village by the ninjas of the Phantom Kingdom for treatment. 3 days later, Conan has woken up a long time ago. In the past 2 days, he often came to see Uzumaki Nagato. His beautiful face was full of worries. Nagato, are you okay? Hearing Conan's words, Uzumaki Nagato did not answer, but began to perceive with the physique held by the Uzumaki clan. After making sure no one is around, the corners of his mouth began to rise, and then he laughed out loud. But his smile directly shocked Conan, thinking that there was something wrong with his companion's spirit. Nagato, don't scare me, I'm going to find a medical ninja now. Ha ha ha, Conan, don't worry, I'm really fine. Uzumaki Nagato changed his weak appearance and sat up directly from the bed, with a smile still on his face. Are you really okay? This skeptical tone obviously did not believe his words. However, there was no one around, so Uzumaki Nagato felt relieved at the age of 21, and then spoke softly. Conan, this is just our plan. Plan? Conan was at a loss. She couldn't understand what Uzumaki Nagato was talking about. What plan? How could she not know? Aware of Conan's doubts, Uzumaki Nagato began to explain slowly. The pair of Rinnegans are not mine, even though the leader has changed my physique, but with the use of a large number of Rinnegan pupils, it will still affect my lifespan. Here is the proof. Uzumaki Nagato pointed to the white hair on the side of the sleeve, and his perception has clearly perceived that his overlapping hair has lost its vitality. Conan also saw the gray hair that Uzumaki Nagato had grown. Moreover, this pair of Rinnegans is a must for Uchiha Madara to carry out his plan. The leader has long guessed that the other party will come to take these eyes, not so much that they take these eyes. Advertisement. It might as well be that we gave it to him. It's just a pair of eyes that don't belong to me. It's no pity to lose them. The leader has promised me that when I go back, he will help me get a pair of eyes that really belong to me, and they are Uchiha's Sharingan. Coupled with the remaining power of the Rinnegan I have cultivated for so many years, it is estimated that in the future, I will be able to open a pair of Rinnegans that truly belong to me. Speaking of this, Uzumaki Nagato's tone was full of excitement. If it is possible, who would not want to be strong, even the top strong? Namikaze Kirito gave them such a possibility. Therefore, the combination of the entire ninja world, without a single gap, is entirely due to Namikaze Kirito's personal ability and charm. For someone else, even with the strongest force, they would not be able to unify their minds like they are now. The success of Namikaze Kirito cannot be replicated. Hearing Uzumaki Nagato say that, Conan relaxes, although he doesn't want to admit it, but that man really has magical powers. And people are very attractive, of course, we must throw away those behaviors that bully ourselves. Thinking of this, Conan's face turned red. Fortunately, Uzumaki Nagato couldn't see it at this time, otherwise it was probably another burst of teasing. On the other side, in the capital of the fantasy country, that is, in the former Konoha village, Namikaze Kirito was looking at the information in his hand. And Nohara Lin is under the table, showing a lovely cheek. Lin, don't force yourself. My lord, oh, my lord, Lin is not at all reluctant, and I feel very happy. Hearing what Nohara Lin said, Namikaze Kirito continued to read the information with peace of mind. It seems that Uchiha Madara has retrieved his Rinnegan, and your project Tsuki no Mi is about to start. Daishinmu Kagaya, you will appear in front of me soon. I don't know if the so-called goddess of Mao knows that I am just a toy of the mastermind behind the scenes. What kind of expression will I have? I really look forward to it. In the base of Shao organization. At this time, Uchiha Obito has already transplanted one Rinnegan. The reason why he didn't transplant another one is that he still needs the magic skill of Kamui to save his life. The second is that he doesn't really want to transplant another Rinnegan. Uchiha Madara stood aside and watched quietly. After Uchiha Obito sat up, he spoke softly. Now that you have Rinnegan, you have the ability to control 10 tails. I wonder if you plan to revive me first? Or plan to become 10 tails Jinchuriki yourself? Advertisement, Madara, your resurrection will wait until our plan is successful. Since I promised you, of course I will do it. Hearing these words from Uchiha Obito, Uchiha Madara was not at all surprised. If Obito came to revive him obediently, it would be beyond his expectation. There are strong people like Namikaze Kirito in the ninja world. Although Uchiha Madara's pride does not want to admit it, Namikaze Kirito's strength is a fact. Even Uchiha Madara has no chance of winning. That's why you can't confront the opponent head-on. Only after becoming 10 tails Jinchuriki and gaining the omnipotent power, will you have the confidence to stand in front of Namikaze Kirito. But what if things don't go so well? This is a game for the entire ninja world, including the man behind the scenes that Namikaze Kirito has always cared about. But Uchiha Madara didn't know that the plan in Black Zetsu's heart was quite different from his plan. In the end, he will solve all the people by himself and let the whole world merge into the eye of the moon. You only need to wait for a while, until the black hand behind the scenes can't bear it and appears in person, then you will be able to understand the truth of this world. That's me, Uchiha Madara, and Uchiha Madara followed behind him, giving Black Zetsu a look. Black Zetsu, who was familiar with Uchiha Madara's plan, of course knew what this look meant, so he nodded inadvertently. The eyes have been completely implanted successfully. Uchiha Obito can't wait to stand up and walk towards the cave where 10 tails is held. Uchiha 733 Obito became the best experimental body, possessed Rinnegan, and then became 10 tails Jinchuriki, who would disrupt the entire ninja world and force out Namikaze Kirito's strength by the way. In this game, Namikaze Kirito is 100% confident. Uchiha Madara is also seeing 10 tails for the first time, although he can feel the violent power overflowing from 10 tails. The rest will be reduced to funerals, but only one can succeed, and only one person can create the new world. Thinking of this, a cold light appeared in Uchiha Madara's eyes. Several forces, everyone has their own plans. Facing 10 tails Jinchuriki, who knows if Namikaze Kirito will have a backup. There is only one chance for Project Tsuki no Mi, and Uchiha Madara doesn't want any surprises in this matter. The winner has only one. Chapter 163. The next step is the final battle. As soon as he came to the cave where 10 tails were held, Uchiha Obito felt his own Rinnegan move. Is this how it feels to be able to control 10 tails? Uchiha Obito was a little excited at this time, seeing that his plan was about to reach the completion stage. Once you become a 10 tails Jinchuriki, be sure to bring back the balls of this world. At that time, let Lin also sink into the illusion world, and then, she will no longer have sadness. In that world, there is Lin and Kakashi. There are countless like-minded companions. Now this is hell, it's a false world. Thinking of Lin's smile beside Namikaze Kirito and the light in her eyes before, Uchiha Obito couldn't help feeling angry. This is my own goddess, from childhood to adulthood. To Namikaze Kirito like that. Nasty B******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** expression, but he didn't have the slightest idea of comforting him. That's it, only with weaknesses can one be able to control them better. If Uchiha Obito had Namikaze Kirito's character, needless to say, I would definitely not choose him. Even kill him. Such people, once they cannot be controlled by themselves, will cause a lot of trouble. Looking at the current Namikaze Kirito doesn't confirm the conjecture. If there is no him, my plan will definitely succeed smoothly, and it is not like now, hiding in the dark like a mouse. The pride in Uchiha Madara's heart has always been difficult. He never thought he would lose to anyone, even Senju Hashirama. The two have always been rivals, and in the end, he got this pair of Rinnegan and surpassed him. But from the moment I saw Namikaze Kirito, these eyes were no longer my reliance, but became a measuring tool to see the gap between myself and the other party. Obito, here you come. Seeing Uchiha Obito, Sarutobi Asuma stepped forward with eyes full of excitement. If the plan is successful, he will be able to reunite with his goddess. Seeing that he is getting closer and closer to success, Sarutobi Asuma said that his heart is getting hotter and hotter. Asuma, how is Dao? Advertisement, there is still no abnormality, and it is still under our firm control. Glancing at the surrounding members, Sarutobi Asuma said confidently. That's good. Next, it's the final battle, 10 Tails. There is no need to waste our fighting power. Having said that, the purple light in Uchiha Obito's eyes flashed. Roar. The eyes on 10 Tails' head opened suddenly, and there was a howl that shook the whole cave. Members of the Akatsuki organization also came to Uchiha Obito's side at this moment. They looked at 10 Tails with anticipation. Who likes to carry it in the dark cave every day, but now that the Fantasy Kingdom has unified the ninja world, once people from their Akatsuki organization show up, they will probably be besieged immediately. 10 Tails is their last resort. Watching 10 Tails move slowly, Uchiha Obito's eyes were full of excitement. It finally worked. The power of the world is in your hands. In Konoha village, Namikaze Kirito appeared refreshed on the streets of Konoha at this time. Lin has almost been developed now, and the last step is left. When Uchiha Obito appears in front of him again, I want to see what kind of expression he will have when facing Lin, who is full of his own shape. It's fun to think about, but the idea in Namikaze Kirito's mind was just a flash. The reason why he came out of the base was because his Rinnegan felt a slight movement. There are only two people who can be related to Rinnegan, one is Kagaya on the moon, and the other is 10 Tails. Through layers of clouds, one can feel that the seal is still very strong, that is to say, it is not that there is something wrong with Kaguya's seal. That is the second possibility. 10 Tails. Your plan is finally about to start, and I can't wait for it. Namikaze Kirito looked at the dark sky. He wanted to know if the man behind the scenes could remain indifferent when he changed the plot of the whole world. Just when Namikaze Kirito was going to eat something at Ichiraku Ramen, suddenly, a fiery red figure appeared in front of him. Advertisement, of course. His eyes saw the other person's appearance clearly, but he didn't wait for him to speak. Boom. With a muffled sound, Namikaze Kirito flew upside down and crashed into a wall. Tong. People? Kushina's furious voice resounded throughout the street, and the people around couldn't help but shudder when they saw this scene, and then disappeared without a trace. Nonsense. Watching the excitement, you have to divide people. Who dares to control the affairs of your own country master and mother? Namikaze Kirito shook his head from the ruins and got out. There was a wry smile on his face. Mother, don't look at him facing the enemy. He has Haki under control and indifference, but facing his family, he has Tongtian's ability, and he can't show it. You little brat. Did you become presumptuous when you grow up? You don't want your own mother anymore, do you? Kushina stepped forward and grabbed her eldest son's ear. She didn't use much force in that punch just now. This D kid flew out by himself. He did it so realistically, he would do it every time he was angry before, but this time, she won't do it. Mother, I'm afraid that your punch hurt me, and I'm already this big, so don't pull my ears. What's wrong, you little liar? Since Minato went to help you, your younger brother has been clamoring to become someone like you every day, and I'm the only one left at home. You're the most free every day, but you just don't come back home. Tell me, did you go to Hong's house, or to Tsunade's house? Since Tsunade and Namikaze Kirito made a clear relationship, Kushina no longer called Master Tsunade. She has become her own daughter-in-law, and, Wang Hao, asks Master Tsunade how strange he thinks. Seeing his mother's eyes flushed, Namikaze Kirito's heart warmed up. This is his mother. If the plot is changed, and the black hand behind the scenes really appears and wants to make things right, I will definitely do my best to organize it. Oh, I can't control you anymore. You still dare to stare at my man. Seeing the coldness in Namikaze Kirito's eyes, Kushina thought that Namikaze Kirito was protesting her behavior, which is unbearable. The title of Little Pepper is not for nothing. Grabbing Namikaze Kirito's ear, he headed home. Everyone on the road pretended not to see it. You must know that Gensokyo, the king's guard, didn't dare to show up. Who would dare to speak out to stop it? Soon, the mother and son arrived at home. Facing a table of delicious meals, Namikaze Kirito didn't say anything more. He sat directly on the chair and began to feast on it. Kushina was on the sidelines, watching her son eat with relief. Chapter 164 10 Tails Jinchuriki. Shao Organization Base. After all members of Akatsuki retreated, Uchiha Obito began to manipulate 10 Tails with that Rinnegan. He hadn't thought about releasing 10 Tails for comparison first. Let's not talk about Namikaze Kirito's own strength, let's just say that he has Rinnegan. If he is not careful, Tiano can become someone's possession. By then, it's still 10 Tails Jinchuriki. Didn't he make a wedding dress for others? So Uchiha Obito intends to become 10 Tails Jinchuriki first, and then go out to pretend. Uchiha Madara doesn't have any objection to his idea. As long as the other party becomes 10 Tails Jinchuriki, he can fully understand the power of 10 Tails, and then the plan can be carried out smoothly. According to Uchiha Obito's hatred for Namikaze Kirito, after fully controlling the power of 10 Tails, the first thing to do should be to go to the capital of the fantasy country to find a place. At that time, it will be enough to see the true strength of Namikaze Kirito. No matter what Uchiha Obito does, it will not have the slightest impact on Uchiha Madara's plan. Looking at the ferocious 10 tails in front of him, Uchiha Obito's eyes were not only hot, but also dazed. You know, at this point today, the plan has completely changed beyond recognition, and Nohara Lin has also been resurrected, and she continues to carry out 723 Project Tsuki no Mi. Is it really good? Shouldn't Lin be rescued from Namikaze Kirito? But whether it's Project Tsuki no Mi, or saving Lin, what Uchiha Obito lacks at the moment is strength. That's right. When he looked at 10 tails again, Uchiha Obito's eyes were completely devoid of blankness, and only a desire for power. If you want to achieve your goals, you must stand at the pinnacle of the ninja world. Only in this way, you will not be restrained by anyone, and you will no longer need to hide. Rinnegan's purple light flashed. 10 tails let out a growl, then turned into a beam of light and began to blend in towards Uchiha Obito. Everyone in the Shao organization was watching this scene excitedly. Their previous hard work was not in vain. I and others finally ushered in the opportunity to change the ninja world. Roar! Uchiha Obito was enveloped by the light of 10 tails, and a beast-like howl came out of his mouth. Not long after, the gigantic Chienwei had completely disappeared from everyone's eyes. In the cave, only a large white cocoon was left. Advertisement. That exuding power body type, CBFJ, no one else, that's 10 tails, also Uchiha Obito. Ka. Soon, under the eyes of everyone, the big white cocoon began to crack slowly. Pieces of white cocoons fell to the ground. These white substances were miraculous. The moment they fell on the ground, they completely merged into the ground and disappeared. The appearance of Uchiha Obito at this time also clearly appeared in the eyes of everyone. What kind of a pose is that? The whole body is pale, and the body is covered with layers of scales. The hair has been completely Madara white. The opened Rinnegan was full of ferocity. 9 black hooked jades appeared behind the whiteness. 5 sharp horns grew out of the shoulders, each with a red strange energy. Holding a black staff in his hand, a powerful and invincible aura exudes from the whole person. Ha. Yes, that's the power. This is 10 tails Jinchuriki. Seeing the change of Uchiha Obito, Uchiha Madara became crazy. This is the power he has been looking for. Now Uchiha Obito, the chess piece, finally showed this power in front of his eyes. Everyone in the Akatsuki organization was also full of joy. Only Black Zetsu had an inexplicable look on his face. Obito, you've finally come this far. Let me revive Madara next. Finally, let my mother see the light of day again. Uchiha Obito felt the turbulent power in his body, and an emotion called self-confidence appeared in his heart. After becoming a 10 tails Jinchuriki, the chakra in the body keeps flowing. If it was a drop of water before, it has indeed become a bottomless ocean now. There are even many abilities in my mind that I didn't have before. Stretching forward casually, a beam of light shot out directly. Boom! The thick mountain wall was directly punched out by that energy, and Uchiha Obito looked at his hand with satisfaction. The members of the Akatsuki organization also lamented the terrifying destructive power. Advertisement, Obito. You really did it. Uchiha Madara stepped forward at this time, excitedly said to Uchiha Odai. Unexpectedly, Uchiha Obito already possessed the world's top combat power at this time, completely ignored Uchiha Madara, but said indifferently. Next, when I brought pain to the fantasy land, Namikaze Kirito, you didn't expect to be so strong one day, did you? Today's Namikaze Kirito has become a nightmare in Uchiha Obito's heart. The first thing to do when you get the powerless power is to find Namikaze Kirito and get back the previous face. But upon hearing Uchiha Obito's words, Uchiha Madara frowned slightly. He wanted Uchiha Obito to test Namikaze Kirito's strength. And Uchiha Madara, who originally planned to ignore the other party, couldn't help but laugh angrily after hearing this sentence. To defeat Namikaze Kirito, not only himself, but also the entire ninja world. Otherwise, when Uchiha Obito went by himself, he would directly face the attack of the entire ninja world. When Uchiha Madara went to the capital of the fantasy country, he felt that the small distance between villages. For this goal, the Akatsuki organization has become a major gravedigger, digging up the graves of all the strong men who died in the ninja world. This is really unwise. At this moment, Uchiha Obito didn't panic at all, and didn't do anything to escape, but instead faced Uchiha Madara directly, with a terrific aura on his body. After all, Namikaze Kirito has the same Rinnegan as Uchiha Madara. At this moment, Uchiha Obito's heart was filled with self-confidence, and he couldn't listen to the dissuasion of others. Going to have Sarutobi Asuma give it all to Impure World Reincarnation. In this way, when facing the entire ninja world, he will have some confidence. Coincidentally, before going to the fantasy country to face Namikaze Kirito, it is also a good choice to practice with Uchiha Madara first. Madara, are you questioning me? As he spoke, Uchiha Madara's pair of Rinnegans began to glow strangely. But now is not the time. Obito, wait until our plan is completed, and then go to the land of illusion, and experience the power you get first. There are many strong people. Even if you become 10 tails Jinchuriki, you can't be so arrogant and face the entire ninja world by yourself. It seems that after you became 10 tails Jinchuriki, you have a confidence that you never had before. Chapter 165. In front of us, we are absolutely invincible. Seeing Uchiha Obito, who was full of fighting spirit towards him, Uchiha Madara laughed back angrily. Ha. Obito, it really is 10 Tails who gave you the confidence to do something against me. Facing Uchiha Madara's wild laughter, Uchiha Obito said indifferently, Madara, I am not your flag, so don't talk to me in this tone, I don't like it very much. Do you really think you have the ability to fight me? Uchiha Madara's Rinnegan exudes a purple glow, and the aura of his body is completely exuded. The members of the Akatsuki organization standing around were thrown flying by the sudden momentum. You must know that they had been sealing 10 Tails Li Huang back halfway. The full release of Uchiha Madara's aura is not something they can bear now. Uchiha Obito snorted coldly, and smashed the black Zen stick in his hand to the ground. The back covered in white suddenly floated out slowly, several black spheres. Truth-seeking ball. This is a high-density chakra based on yin-yang dun and adding the 7 attributes of yin-yang and 5 elements. The ninjutsu that combines offense and defense has even surpassed the limits of blood successors and the elimination of blood successors, reaching a level above that. The destructive power is even far greater than Dajianmu's dust dun. Even if the body of Impure World Reincarnation is hit by the truth-seeking ball, the injured parts will not recover. Seeing that Uchiha Obito and Uchiha Madara are getting stronger and stronger, the battle is imminent. However, the members of the Akatsuki organization did not intend to stop them at all. They also wanted to see whether Uchiha Madara, known as Ninja Shura, was stronger, or Uchiha Obito, who had 10 tails, was stronger. Others don't care about watching the show, but Black Zetsu can't. The two were about to fight, but Ju got in the middle. Absolutely, dodge. Uchiha Madara really became angry, even if she was standing in the middle, she didn't want to stop. Master Madara, Obito, now is not the time for us to have internal conflicts. If you really want to do something, how about going directly to the capital of the Fantasy Kingdom and looking for Namikaze Kirito? Advertisement. Upon hearing Namikaze Kirito's name, Uchiha Obito withdrew his momentum and the truth-seeking ball behind Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara also took back the double of the round tomb prison. This made Black Zetsu secretly heave a sigh of relief. If the two really fight, it doesn't matter who wins and who loses, for fear of affecting his future plans. Seeing this conflict disappear, everyone in the Shao organization lost all interest. It's a pity that it can't be seen as lively. After Uchiha Madara withdrew his momentum, he found a chair and made a throw. He asked with great interest, Obito, what are you going to do? Are you heading directly to the land of illusion? Uchiha Obito ignored Uchiha Madara in the slightest, but turned his attention to Sarutobi Asuma. How are you getting ready? Facing Uchiha Obito's inquiry, Sarutobi Asuma bowed his head respectfully. The troops have been assembled and can start at any time. Ju on the other side said the same thing. The 100,000 white Zetsu on my side are also ready to launch a war at any time. Well, Namikaze Kirito, you should return my things. What Uchiha Obito said was the lost dignity, or Nohara Rin, who was in Namikaze Kirito's arms. Uchiha Obito did not remind Namikaze Kirito that the war started. A group of troops headed directly to the fantasy country, obviously planning to fight to the death. Become the 10 Tails Jinchuriki, possessing absolute power that can be heaven-defying. Now Uchiha Obito is no longer interested in intrigue, he just wants to meet his goddess soon, and suppress Namikaze Kirito by the way. It was he who broke his heart into what it is now, and it was he who made the Shao organization that he had single-handedly shattered like a rat crossing the street. Using resurrection ninjutsu, your family of 3 is living such a happy life, what about my happiness? With this in mind, Uchiha Obito floated in midair, watching the troops on the ground ready for war. He must give Namikaze Kirito the deepest memory. Hundreds of thousands of troops marched, and it was impossible to blindfold the eyes of the world. Advertisement. Kingdom of Illusion soon got the news. At this time, Namikaze Kirito is discussing the battle plan in the conference room with a group of high-level officials from the Fantasy Kingdom. They have more than 100,000 troops this time. Although they know that White Zetsu is a product of 10 Tails, and their combat power is not that great, they still have a lot of momentum. Asking for flowers. Nara Shirju, the person with the highest IQ, is talking about the information from the spies. There are also ancestors who were also summoned by the other party with reanimation jutsu. Impure World Reincarnation is not afraid of anything except the sealing technique. This is a trouble for us. There is also the existence of Master First Hokage who suppresses the ninja world, and even Uchiha Madara. You have all seen the power of Uchiha Madara before. There is no advantage in numbers, and coupled with the gap between the strong, this war is not optimistic. Hearing Nara Shirju's analysis, everyone present frowned. Although the ninja world has been unified and all the powerhouses have gathered together, facing such powerhouses as Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara who can affect the outcome of a war, my side seems a bit unsightly. Besides Namikaze Kirito, who dares to stop Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama of Impure World Reincarnation. My lord is going to fight against Obito of 10 Tails Jinchuriki, we can't trouble him anymore, I suggest that it's up to us to block those Impure World Reincarnation. The rest of Akatsuki's people will be headed by other cadres, let all the ninjas protect the sealing squad, and seal the ancestors once there is a chance. No, I do have a different opinion. Those who want to solve the Impure World Reincarnation are very simple, as long as they find the caster. Orochimaru stood up at this point to speak. Asuma just took away the Book of Seals. I didn't expect to be able to use this ninjutsu. He is so proficient in using it in a short period of time. He is also a scientific research genius. Hearing this, the people from Konoha frowned. Sarutobi Asuma is Sarutobi Hiruzen's son. I didn't expect Laozi to bring so many things to the village. After his death, His son was even more troublesome. Now he is still cooperating with the people from the Akatsuki organization, intending to subvert the kingdom of fantasy? He should have been killed earlier. At this moment, Namikaze Kirito stood up, exuding a strange aura from his body. Don't worry, as you know, there are hundreds of thousands of enemies. Don't be careless, but don't panic. You all go back to your home and act as usual. No matter what happens, as long as you advance and retreat with me, we will be invincible in front of you.